So very warm welcome to all of you to the course demo and placements journey webinar. This is a webinar which we host every month on behalf of our team, Emertxe. So the objective of this particular webinar is to give you an overview about how our embedded systems course works. Typically, when it delivered online, we are seeing that there are a lot of questions coming from potential students who ask about how one can learn embedded systems online. Also, this course is also available offline. Some of you will know. They also might have some questions. Even though our team of counselors try to answer those questions over phone or over email, we saw, over a period of time that there are a lot of questions that these potential students have, which need to be answered, right? Added to that, we also felt there is a lot of awareness-related information need to be given with respect to overall how the core industry is moving along, where are the jobs are getting opened up, and why there are so many jobs that are coming in, right? And as we also speak, there are certain words about recession that is coming into picture. So how does it going to span out, right? So a lot of questions we saw that is coming along. So we thought, let us make it as a monthly awareness come informative seminar on this aspect, right? Which we host every month. Myself, Jay Kumar, and my colleague Mubin will be hosting this webinar. So it's been fascinating so far. I think this is the 6th or 7th edition of webinar we are doing. The slides pretty much remain the same, and the content pretty much remain the same, except a few slides update about the placement data. But apart from that, what we enjoy is that the interactivity, the variety of questions that you guys bring into the table. To make this particular webinar very vibrant. Sometimes it pulls quite beyond the stipulated time. But what keeps us motivated is to see the inquisitiveness, the curiosity about your future, and also the interest that you wanted to show that you wanted to have a career in this domain is what gets us motivated. Otherwise, the pretty much the slides, everything remain the same. Okay. So with that note, I would encourage all of you to ask as many questions as possible. I will divide this particular, stop by wherever there is a logically a section. I just explain how this webinar is going to get structured. So we'll stop by and logically, a proper period, and then answer as many questions as you can. And we'll ensure that no questions go unanswered. So we'll put our level best to answer all the questions are answered. Okay, that would be the thing. And since it's a webinar, you will not be able to ask using your audio. I recommend not to use audio. So please type in the window that is given to you. The questions will reach me. As I already mentioned initially, if you type your question, right, others will not be able to see. But please, we rest assured, all the questions are reaching me. I'm the host. And and when Mubin takes over, right, he may not be able to see. I will read out on your behalf and ensure that your technical questions also getting answered. Okay, that's going to be a protocol. Ensure that you ask all the questions possible. So don't keep anything in your mind. Just emit out what is there in your in terms of questions, clarification, doubts, concerns. Right, may not be related to only to our embedded systems course. As I said, the idea is not only give you a perspective that come and join our course. Right? That's definitely not the objective. The idea is to give you guys a big picture, give the necessary exposure, necessary information, and let you guys decide. Right, you are the primary responsible person for your career, and we all strongly believe that if you take the right decision for your career, that's what makes us happy from Team Emertxe. Right. So that's a brief, way how this particular webinar is going to get conducted. At a high level, this webinar is divided into 3 sections. And to start with, I'll start with an introduction and also broadly cover up some of the placement trends that we are seeing. Okay? And then how these placement trends are translating into placement opportunities for our students, and some of the recent success stories our students are achieving, at least in the past couple of months. I'll probably touch upon some of the recent success stories. I'll show you a glimpse of success stories. And of course, if you want to get the latest information, our website, our social media, we constantly keep it updated. The entire placement information is transparent in Emertxe from day one. It's all available. I'll just show you some specific examples and then explain what's happening in the last 2 months. So that will be the first section, right? So once that is done, I'll hand it over to my colleague Mubin. So Mubin will primarily focus on the technical aspect of the course, how this particular course is going to deliver online. Especially when you say embedded systems course getting delivered online, there are a lot of questions may come in your mind saying that how I'm going to basically deal with hardware, how I'm going to ask doubts, right? And how do I skill myself? How do you know that I'm doing well? What type of feedback that I'll get? And then what type of additional coaching or preparation that I'll be able to get, for example, how to face interviews, how to prepare a resume, etc. How those things are going to get packaged as a part of this particular course. So he'll be primarily talking about that by showing a live demo of various mechanisms and the ecosystem available to our students. Then again, I will take back from him again as a third and the last section, where we again get back to the placement topic and talk about the placement process, how the placement process works, how the students apply. We have a Google group. I'll quickly show a demo of how that particular group works, and then how students can apply, and then how you get shortlisted, etc. Right. So that's going to be the three parts to start with. Right. High level placement trend and introduction. Then second is the course demo and the technical aspect of it. And third part again the placement process and how it's going to work. So basically the three section is how it's going to present this webinar, right? So with that note, I'd like to get a quickly go ahead from all of you. Shall we go ahead and start running the slides? I'm seeing already a question coming from Vivek. Just keep it coming, Vivek. No problem. We'll get it answered. Can I start the webinar? All of you, can I get some go ahead? Okay, I'm seeing more questions coming in. Okay, go ahead, sir. Okay, thank you, Ankur. Okay, so because I'm already getting a lot of questions, Parvati, Kavya, right? Thank you, guys. So let me go ahead and start the webinar. Let me put in the presentation mode. All right. So once again, very warm welcome to all of you for the May month webinar on course demo and placement journey. So let me briefly introduce about our organization, Emertxe. Emertxe, many of you would have already done some research on it. So we are an edtech company. We have been in this particular education segment from the year 2003, 18 plus years. I would call ourselves edtech company because before pandemic we used to call ourselves as a finishing school. So when I say finishing school, we were only offering the the offline classes where students used to come to our center and then learn. That is still true, where we run offline classes. But one of the good thing or a positive thing I would say among all the challenges that we faced in pandemic is that students got adapted to online learning. Point number one, and second, companies also become very much comfortable in hiring online. Right today, if you look at more than 95% of the companies who come to our recruiting activities, they recruit online. Right, only very few companies call people for a physical interview or a paper-based written test. Right. So due to these reasons, we also transition. Even though we as an organization wanted to go into online learning for a long period of time, we also transitioned to online thanks to the adaptability happened from the student side, and also the support we received from the hiring organization to make the hiring process online. Right. So that's a brief about our organization. So as a company, we offer courses in three areas. One is on embedded systems. That's the focus for today. And if you look at last week, we hosted a similar webinar on IoT, where we go beyond embedded systems and also cover some other aspects, which is packaged under our IoT course. And third aspect is a full stack web development, which is about developing a complete web application, which includes front end, back end, and database. So that's the three areas that we offer courses, and all of our courses are pretty immersive in nature, right? Each of them span around anywhere around 5 to 6 months duration, delivered in both online as well as in the offline mode. The IoT course was getting delivered offline, which again went online from this month onwards. So pretty much all our courses are available in both online mode and offline mode. Okay, and both of them are as effective, right? We'll not say which one is more effective, which one is less effective. Both of them, students who are taking both online and offline get the same placement opportunities as well. Okay. So who are we targeting these courses? Again, two segments. One segment of people are folks who finish their engineering and looking for the first job, right? Which includes people who passed out in the recent year. And as we speak, the 2022 batch is about to come out. They're kind of writing their final semester examinations, right? And we also have people who are from 2018, 2017. Probably, you would have tried certain gate exams or some kind of government exams. You not have still landed in a job, right? So they are the primary set of audience, right? So not only that, we also, this particular course is taken by people who are looking to upskill themselves and reposition them in the, in the core job. For example, I'm already seeing, Parvati, right? Parvati Puttannavar, she's telling about recently I joined TCS, right? We hear a lot of people similar to Parvati's profile where they due to certain reasons, either through an on-campus or off-campus, right? They join an IT company or an application side of company, but they would have studied some, core electronics or electrical engineering days, right? So those students want to, at the same time, they cannot quit their job, right? They want to upskill themselves, give them a totally different, look into the profile and then come back to the core segment. So we train such people. Ideally, the evening classes are conducive for the, working professionals. We'll talk about it shortly, right? So we train them and then we, help them to get into the core job, right? So let me summarize three topics or three technology areas: embedded systems, IoT, and full stack web development, focusing on two target audience, the entry-level engineers and also the working professionals, right? And of course, we also do small bucket of corporate trainings where companies come to us directly for their employee skill improvement and things like that. So that's our technology portfolio and the target audience, right? But you can see, right, there's a picture that is given there. There's a hand that is making a part. So whatever the training program and whomever maybe the target audience can be, right? Our philosophy is to make the training programs hands-on, right? Suppose if you want to make a pot, right, you need to put your hand into the clay and what they call, right, make your hands dirty. Then only you will do it. So when you are going and do the process of making a pot, definitely you'll do a lot of mistakes, right? You need some kind of help and support and mentoring, and eventually you make a pot, right? And what's the great thing about making a pot and in your own hands, right? Your confidence goes up. So typically we get asked about questions about how do I build confidence, my English communication is not great, etc. So it all boils down to confidence. When you build things hands on, and when you showcase those skills and projects in terms of an excellent resume, right? Naturally your confidence goes up, and once your confidence goes up, everything falls in place, right? So that's a overall philosophy in which we work with. Okay, so that's a brief about our organization. So let me move on. Let me also introduce our leadership team. Emertxe is started by Mr. Maaz, who is the founder and the managing director of the organization. Apart from Maaz, me and Mubin are part of the leadership team in Emertxe, and I'm one of the core leadership team member. So I carry about 20 years of overall work experience. Initial 12.5 years, I worked with 3 different corporate organizations. Started off with a startup called Ishoni Networks, then moved on to HP, where I spent about 7.5 years. In the first company, I spent about 2 years. Then HP, 7.5 years. Then I moved on to Huawei, where I spent about 3.5 years as a senior manager or group manager, heading their embedded Linux group. Overall, 12.5 years I spent in these 3 corporate organizations. And beyond that, I always wanted to do something on my own. At the same time, wanted to do in the field of education. So that's when Emertxe happened. So Maaz is my long-term friend. So I also had passion to do on my own. So that's when I quit my corporate life or corporate career in the year 2013, and I joined Emertxe as a full-time leadership team member in the year 2014. It's been about 8 years in Emertxe. In my 12.5 year career in corporate, primarily I worked on various technologies, focused on the embedded systems. Worked on various networking and connectivity layers, building different type of products and solutions, targeting either routers or printers or networking and telecommunication products during my last stint with Huawei and things like that. Right? So when I moved to Emertxe, I again started at the technical side. I was a mentor. I used to teach classes, along with a set of fellow mentors. Then slowly I started handling some placement-related responsibilities. And over the years, we built a very big team of mentors. We have about 40 mentors. I would say the highest number of mentors that you can ever find in any education company. They're all full-time. They're a part of our team. There's nothing called part-time mentor. Somebody comes and teaches evening. Absolutely no. All of them are full-time. They're part of our team, right? So when your organization grew, I also needed to move on to different responsibilities. So that's when we kind of me and Mubin started handling different side of the this whole training and placement. So Mubin currently heads the entire training team, which I mentioned a few minutes back, about 40 plus team, and then subsequently moved on to placements. I still continue to handle placements, talking to companies, ensuring that we bring in more companies for hiring and ensure that all the students are getting enough opportunities and place. So that's what I do. And added to that, of late I started handling some responsibility in the business side also. So that's what I do in Emertxe, in my career background. Okay. So it's been, as I already mentioned in the beginning, it's been a pleasure meeting you all. The type of question and answer what you ask is what keeps us going. Okay. So that's a brief about myself. Mubin, are you there? Mubin? Hope he joined. He's showing, yeah, he's. Mubin? Mubin, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, hello Jay. Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mubin, yes.
Yeah, I'm having some network bandwidth issues. I'll be maybe turning off my camera for now.
Okay, sure. Go ahead, Mubin. Just introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So, good evening, everyone, and nice to have you on board for this workshop, which is going to be a demo session and introduction to the embedded course we deliver at Emertxe. So I'm working as a technology head at Emertxe, and I'm responsible for managing a set of technical mentors who are specialized in the area of embedded systems, IoT, and web application development. So I'll be walking you through the course details, which we are going to teach in depth for people who are interested in joining for the embedded system course, both in the online and offline mode. So I'll walk you through the course demo, which includes like a small clip of recording of two of the modules which we're going to deliver as part of the course, as well as I'll also walk you through the learning management system, how the training is exactly delivered, and what all resources is available for the learners as part of the course. So thanks everyone for joining, and over to you, Jay, and I'll discuss about the details in a few minutes.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mubin. Thanks for your introduction. So that's about our organization and our leadership team. And let us move on. So as you guys know, right, we have been in this particular domain for more than 18 years. And one of the key value proposition that we have established with the organization is the skill development that we bring in form of our students, right? Both the entry-level engineers and also working professionals. And when they hire our trained students, right, they primarily see benefits in terms of they don't need to train them again, our students again, and that way they can be deployed faster into the projects. And the hiring ratio, for example, some company wanted to hire 5 people and they wanted to openly hire from a walk-in, right? They probably need to call a few hundreds of students, right? But whereas if they do it through our students, right, since their skill levels are one level above, right, the hiring ratio is much better. So these are all the reasons why companies come and hire our trained students, right? And our placement portfolio, some of them are given in this particular slide. Okay, so this is just a snapshot. At a high level, these companies can be divided into 3 buckets. One are what you call the bigger organizations. Again, they can be categorized into 2 buckets. For example, we have what you call MNCs who have multiple country presence and they have their R&D or the engineering center in India. For example, companies like Qualcomm, NXP, right? Companies like, for example, Chelsea, Honeywell, Mentor Graphics. Mentor Graphics, anyways, has become Siemens now. It's been acquired by Siemens. So these type of companies, Robert Bosch, of course, Vitesco, Continental, right? Veoneer, Altran. So they're all companies which are having multi-country presence. They are also present in India, right? This is one type of companies. Then we also have companies which are started in India and they're doing a very good embedded work. For example, companies like L&T, right? And even company like Tech Mahindra, right? We typically hear them as service companies, even though they work on a services-based business model. And we also, kind of think that they're all IT companies. Yes, they do IT work also, but beyond that, these organizations have got very big embedded system, vertical or a business unit. Okay? For example, companies like Tata, Advanced Tata Technologies, L&T Tech Services, Tech Mahindra, and even if you look at a company like HCL, right? We are not much hear about those companies outside, but they also do a lot of embedded work. So they hire our students. That's company category number one, right? Either an MNC or India-based big companies. Then we have a lot of mid-sized companies who have people, are the number of headcounts somewhere around 100 people, 200 people, who are doing a very good work again in the core embedded system area. For example, company like Infineon, or company like Nagra, these type of companies who are working in a very niche, but they're operating in a mid-sized companies. And added to that, we have a lot of startups coming in the recent years. Especially India has become a hub of startups, right? Driven by phenomenon like electric vehicles. I'll talk about it in a few minutes, right? So we have a lot of startups. Some of the names you don't have heard of, they're hiring, right? So big companies and MNCs, mid-sized companies, startups, those are the type of companies we hire. And if more or less, if you look at, we have about a company profile of around 1,200 plus companies. Almost you name any company in this particular area, they pretty much hire our students, right? So that's a very strong portfolio of companies that we have established over years. So again, this is a snapshot which I wanted to show you guys. Again, if you want specific details, you can get into our website and see. And off late, even for example, companies like HP, where in fact me and Mubin and me were together in HP, are becoming increasingly more inclined to hire from us. We had good number of students getting selected in the recent past. If you ask me a few years back, right, we can't even think of them coming, because they used to go to some specific campuses, right? So they're all coming and hiring from our institute, right? So this is a type of companies we hire. Again, as I said, if I show all the logos, then we'll only go through the logo walkthrough. So that's a brief about the companies, right? So as I said in the beginning, this particular webinar is not only going to talk about the course part, we'll also cover about the broader trends and the things that are existing in the market. So let me walk you through 5 trends, right? You can see in the year 2022, and even if you see the later part of 2021, we see significant job growth across all the sectors. Even if you look at application development, even if you look at a business side of jobs, right, we saw significant growth. So definitely our core sector also saw significant amount of growth with respect to jobs, and which is continue to be growing. So I'll show you some statistics with respect to Emertxe's placements, right? But before we get into that, let us go through top 5 reasons, top 5 at a high level trends which is causing these job search. So let us go through them one by one according to us. So what is the first reason? The first reason that we are seeing is the MNCs, which have been hiring from tier 1 colleges or some of the well popular known colleges in that particular state or a geography. They're looking to hire beyond those tier 1 colleges, right? Especially tier 1 colleges, due to the job search that has been happening, right? There's a huge amount of crowd moving to work for startups, right? Because of which they are not able to fill up their entry level positions. Point number 1. And point number 2, which is the next reason I'll talk about, due to the pandemic, right? The remote working has become more an accepted phenomena, due to which more and more work is moving to India, right? So they have huge inflow of work, whereas they're not able to hire those many number of skilled engineers. Let me repeat the word, the skilled engineers, because in India quantity is never a problem. I'll also walk you through some of the statistics about how many engineers India produces every day, right? In India, if you look at it, by default everybody becomes engineer, right? Or rather, we become engineer, then think about what to do next, right? So there is a huge supply. But unfortunately, these core companies cannot go to a tier 2 college and hire like how a typical service company hires. For example, companies like Infosys, right? Companies like even TCS, they can go and hire from any tier 2 college, or even for that matter, can hire from a walk-in, because in order to train them in an IT skill and deploy them in an IT project is relatively much easier than training somebody in core technology and making them deploy, right? So that's why these organizations cannot go to any of the tier 2 colleges directly, because the same the student keep asking me, sir, why don't these companies come to my campus, right? The reason is they will not get the skill. So that's exactly where we come in. Our training programs make because larger part of our students are from tier 2 engineering colleges, we skill them and make them ready for these organizations which you can see in the screen, right? Often you hear that somebody got a job in company like Robert Bosch or Sharp or NXP or LG, right? So those things are very much possible to crack through our skill building program, right? That's point number 1. Okay. So point number 2, as I already mentioned, the remote working has become a normal, even though today we talk about hybrid workplace and companies are doing 2 days of office working and things like that. the remote working has become a normal. What it has caused is that countries which are outside India, they're much more comfortable to get their work done from their India development centers. So more work is moving. Of course, India is also proving out to be a cost-effective, destination, right? And also some of the geopolitical thing that is existing today. Even if you look at, even though the unfortunate thing that is happening in Russia, Ukraine, I know there's a war that is happening there, and there's a good number of refugees that are fleeing to the nearby countries, etc. Even those are aiding, are more favorable to favorable to India. Okay? For example, recently we are in a conversation. If you look at it, countries like Ukraine, they do a good amount of software development work. Not only Ukraine, a lot of the Eastern European countries like Romania, right? So now those, because of this instability that is there, right? Those work is also moving to India. So this is a second reason why you are seeing more number of jobs moving to India, right? So the third reason we already mentioned, right? The new age domains. So earlier, if you look at a typical industry like automotive, right? The car was primarily seen as a mechanical entity, right? But if you look at the car is, I'm talking about a traditional car. I'll come to the electric vehicle part in a minute, right? If you look at a normal car, right? So earlier it consisted mainly the mechanical part, right, which is increasingly added with electronic chips. Right? Even if you talk about the entertainment, multimedia, or an app control thing, or the front panel, there are a lot of things which are already getting electronics, right? So which is fueling a growth. Point number one. Added to that, if you look at the electric vehicle as such, right, it is predominantly an electrical and electronics and computer science combined, right? And it's a excellent, again, you connect to the cloud, and it's becoming a excellent use case for an IoT, right? So these type of new domains are driving more jobs, especially if you look at electric vehicles, given all the some of the challenges and the bad news that we are hearing about, the vehicles catching fire, etc. Still, if you look at India, are becoming a preferred destination to do an entire two-wheeler, okay, from India in form of electric vehicles, right? I'll show you shortly. Companies like Mahindra Electric, which is opened as an electric vehicle division, already started hiring our students for these reasons, right? That's one of the trend that we are seeing with respect to the electric vehicle and automotive, right? The second thing, there is a lot of talk about data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, things like that. People who know will be able to relate easily, right? It's all about dealing with data. And today, embedded systems are one of the most predominant source where the data is getting generated, right? So that way, anything that we do, it is getting AI enabled, including your including the embedded systems, right? So that is also getting more popular. And of course, industry 4.0, robotics, where the humans are replaced with more in a digitized and automated solution. Everywhere, these type of technologies, the embedded system technology is getting into play. Because of this, again, there is a huge number of surge in the jobs, right? And this is a famous pipeline or a funnel diagram. You can see that as per statistics, by 2024, India is supposed to produce about 26 lakhs engineers per annum. That's a huge number, right? And if you see the number of people who are getting campus placed, and then number of people going for higher studies, roughly around 20 lakh people are available in the market who are not having jobs. And I'm already having, Akriti Kumari saying that, sir, my college does not have campus, right? So many of them, and when you join your engineering, right? When you join your engineering, your college might have told many stories, right? Oh, this company came, that company came, right? Probably, it was joined, but later realized something else, right? So that is one major challenge where larger number of engineers have studied their engineering, but those engineering pretty much studied in a very theoretical fashion. It's not that you guys are not done engineering well. You've done your engineering well. You all have good grades and marks. Some of them would have scored distinction. Some of them even scored gold medals, right? But still not employable because that the education has been largely theoretical, right? So this is one other challenge where there's a huge supply, there's a huge demand, but there is a gap of making these engineers as a skilled person, right? That's another challenge or the reason, right? And there is one more geopolitical thing that's happening where India is becoming a destination for not only software. If you see predominantly when in early 90s when Indian economy opened up, and also the software development started catching up in India. Look at early Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, HCL, these kind of companies, they build software, right? Then came all these product development companies like, Robert Bosch or, Continental, HP, Intel, Qualcomm, NXP. These type of semiconductor companies came to India, but still they were doing the software work only, what you call a core job or an embedded firmware development work only, right? But, in India has never been a hardware manufacturing or the fabrication unit, what you call fab, right, where they manufacture the chips, right? So which is again changing due to geopolitical issues, for example, the challenges that every country is facing with respect to China and things like that, right? So Indian government is trying to cash in by, introducing more incentives and establishing the semiconductor, manufacturing facilities, right? If you remember, if you see in the recent news, Mysore is being chosen as the first fabrication unit where the chip production is going to happen, right? Recently the government has signed up a contract and the land is getting allocated and stuff like that. So what I mean to say is, like, earlier only the software work was happening, but now that the whole hardware is going to come up, right, that is also going to drive a lot of jobs across. Even if you look at non-engineering grads, people who study diplomas, etc., who will be used in the manufacturing side, and of course the engineering talent which comes under the ESDM, electronic system design and manufacturing, right? We come under more on the design side of it. Again, both the hardware design and the software design is going to drive more jobs. You can see, right, the investments and the jobs and things like that, right? So these are all the 5 reasons why you see there are a lot of jobs, right? In summary, Emertxe is looking to hire beyond top tier 1 colleges, right? Then we saw remote working becoming more popular. Then third one, we saw new domains like electric vehicles, etc., driving more jobs. Fourth one, on the academia side, there's a huge supply, but the skilled supply is not there. And then fifth one, India is becoming a hotbed of electronics, right? So these are all the reasons why there are more number of jobs, right? Then your question may be, can you quantify me, right? This looks like a news channel where we comment some high level trends, right? What does it mean to a student like me, right? I'm like just finished my engineering, or I'm looking for a job, right? Or even let us say you plan to join our course, right? How does it benefit to a student in Emertxe, right? So let me showcase some of the statistics with respect to our placements, right? This particular slide talks about the number of placement companies visited only in the 5th month, right? We are in the 5th month of 2022, right? And I would say 5th month, we still have another week left, right? You can see here on an average, we are clocking about 100 plus companies every month, right? You can see January started very well. February was little less, and February, March and April has been very good. And even, May, we already have 92 companies visited. And we still another 7-8 days to go. Definitely it cross 100. We'll see how much more we can bring in more than 100, right? So this has been absolutely a dream run, I would say, as far as entry-level engineers are concerned. And if you just do mathematically, right, let us say 100 companies for a time being, let us think, right? 100 companies, 21 working days, if you just divide, right, around 4 to 5 companies are visiting every day, right? I'll just also show you our Google group towards the placement section once again, where you can see so many actions happening with respect to the number of companies, right? So whatever the 5 factors which I mentioned in the beginning, right, this is how it is resulting, where again, these companies come in all combinations: startups, mid-sized companies, big companies. And very proudly I can say that more than 70% of the companies, or even I would say 80% of the companies, are repeat recruiters, which means they come in again and again. They all believe that we do a quality work with respect to our training as well as in our placement, right? So that's why they come on again and again, because we establish a very strong trust with the hiring companies, right? So I would say every month we are hitting century. That's very much a dream come true, I would say. And our placement team is finding hard to schedule our students, right? In a day, how many interviews somebody can attend, right? Okay, that's how it is resulting in, right? And if you see comparison with the previous years, right, you can see this is a popular graph which we've been showing from the year 2020. In every webinar, you can see, right, this slide is a default one which I show. You can see the blue and red, which is nothing but the 2020 and 2021, the number of placement companies or the number of drives that has happened in Emertxe, right? You can see, right, already 90 plus have come and 80 plus the drives have been already scheduled. The remaining one, the delta that you're talking about, where we are expecting the schedule to be given. Already we shared the list, right? So as of today, 82 drives are already completed. Whatever 10 plus we are waiting for the schedule to be given. That's where the 90 plus number adds up. And of course, we have another week where companies are getting pipeline, right? But if you just look at this graph, without paying too much attention, also, we just take a look, right? The green towers, which is nothing but the 2022 number of companies, are pretty much like 3 or 4 times what we saw in the year 2020 and 2021, right? When I say 5 trends are there, right? This is a realistic number where, it is translating into the number of drives. Okay, this is the placement side of message I'm talking about, right? Then the other side of message, which I talk about the training, rather which Mubin will talk about training, where we skill our students, right? And then we train them, and then we expose them to this company, right? Basically, your placement is what? Your placement is trained students getting the right opportunity, right? That's when you get a job, right? Or you can say in cricket, right? A well-planned batsman is getting a full toss, right? That's when he hits it for a six, right? So a well-prepared student or a well-skilled student is getting an opportunity. That's when the placement, or the job happens, right? So what are our students doing with these opportunities? Let me quickly show you the snapshot of what our students are achieving. So typically I show it in our student data in two formats, 2 or 3 formats. Let me open up the PDF. Hope you're able to see that. So you can see here, so this is a recent set of success stories from our students, right, who are freshers. So when I say freshers in Emertxe's definition, it is students who are either passed out in the year 2020 or passed out in the year 2021, because 2022 students have not come here. Some of them have come. They're doing this course along with their engineering degree, right? They're still yet to complete their, as I said, the exams and get their at least their PDC and then come, right? So if you look at these set of students, right? If you look at, I'm just showing a snapshot, as I already mentioned. You can go and look into our social media and website. There are tons of data available every day. You will see, right? Data our team keeps posting in our social media, right? You can see here, right? These are some of the recent achievements by our students, right? We have a student like Chandana, as I already mentioned. One great thing that has happened, right? Logos like, for example, HP has started recruiting our students, right? Where we had students like Chandana, who is our offline student. She got a salary of 9.6 lakhs. Okay, and then we have Sanjit, who is a very active student, even in our webinars, etc. He's our online student, so he also could crack a job with the same, HP, where me and Mubin work primarily the printer firmware and the application. That's the whole division works on the printer side, right? So that's where they could crack. Okay, and we have, as I said, your automotive continue to be on a bullish, right? They, in fact, if you look at every automotive, they're finding it hard because they cannot manufacture enough cars, because of chip shortage. If you're watching the media, you will understand what I'm talking about, right? So every automotive that you can think of, be it Robert Bosch, Continental, Veoneer, right, Vitesco. There are tons of automotive companies which hire our students, and that's where students like Nandita, who is again our offline student, could crack a job. Again, this I'm talking about April May data, right? Just a recent snapshot I just wanted to show you guys, right? Then we have student Subhashini, right, who could crack a job with NXP. Okay. NXP, by the way, they also came with a different model. The interviews are going on. We should be getting results shortly, where the salary package can go up to around 12-13 lakhs. So that's a kind of position that we are working on. Probably the next month webinar, you'll see the different phases with those type of salaries coming in. So what I'm saying is, like, around 10ish kind of salaries. 5 plus, it's like, it's 7, 8 and all. There's a lot of companies are there. Even 10 plus, we are seeing good number of companies recruiting our students. So we can see students like Subhashini doing from an online student, right? Again, we have students like Sunil who are cracking, as I said, Tata, right? Even though we think that Tata has been a very, they have a TCS, of course, what we are aware. So they have a lot of companies working on these latest technologies. So Tata Advanced Technologies is one of the organization which is working on these latest embedded IoT type of solutions. Again, he's our online student, right? And he could get a job of around 6 lakhs per annum, so he could get such things. And then we have students like Mohammed Imran working, again, he's an online student, got a job with ZF India, another automotive company, right? And somebody asked me this question, right? I don't know whether his question my thing, right? Somebody asked, right, sir, is this course open for all the branches? Right? Last November we opened up for all the branches. It is not necessary that electronics or electrical students need to take, right? Any branch student can take it, right? And this he was one of them, Mukesh. Okay, Mukesh, I clearly remember he attended one of our webinars like you, and he's from a mechanical background. He had, I think he's a 2018 pass out, if I'm not wrong. He joined our course, and he could get a job in embedded, right? People, I think I'm already seeing some questions here. I'll come back and take it shortly. Students who are from mechanical engineering, civil engineering, they're already taking up our courses, and this is one of the recent example where student like Mukesh could crack a job with core companies, core embedded company, even though they come from a mechanical background. Okay, so again, branch doesn't matter, right? Okay, that's the message I want to send you. And we have students like Soma Prabhe, as I mentioned in one of my trends, right? Your electric vehicle is one big phenomena where every organization is creating an electric vehicle division. That's why we see, Mahindra Electric, I think they selected about 10, 12 students in last week or so. So this is the latest from one of the sample example I'm showing, right? There are a lot of things in the social media you can watch. Okay. Again, they're hiring in the package of about 5 lakhs per annum. You can see students like her. And we also have students like Akash, who is cracking companies like Happiest Minds, who are in a product engineering organization who work on in fact, Happiest Minds have got a very big vertical in IoT and embedded, so they're hiring our students, right? So these type of students, if you look at, right, predominantly, they all come from similar college names. For example, if you go and see, students, right, for example, Chandan or anybody, they did not come, for example, so-called, Ivy League college or some big branded college, right? They all come from humble, simple colleges, tier 2 colleges, what you call private engineering colleges, but they're able to be part of our skill building journey and build their skills. And as I said, the opportunities are getting exposed. They're able to crack it, right? So this is one set of students, right, who are from the 2020 and 2021, except I think Mukesh. I don't know how that popped up, right? So while I'm explaining, right, there are also a set of students, because if you remember in the beginning of my presentation, I mentioned we cater this course to two segments, right? One is people who are looking for the first job, right? These folks are who looking for the first job. That's a set of students which is shown. And there can be many people who are already working either in the IT segment or you don't guys don't believe, right? We have good number of professors taking our courses now. We have people who have done PhD taking our courses, right? Who've been in the teaching career, people who are from marketing and sales background, people who are from, let us say, IT background, right? And people who are from manufacturing but have some idea about PLC, SCADA, but they want to move more into the digital embedded technologies, etc., right? So we are getting a very good success story from there also. Okay, and there we have variety of people, right? People who are from earlier year of pass out, and some of them are, for example, women, right? Girl students. They need to take break, due to their personal reasons, especially due to marriage, pregnancy, relocation, etc., right? So even those people are achieving good number of successes, right? So let me showcase that also as a second set, which is this video. So let me open that up. This name is laterals. So you can see here, you're able to see this. So here you can see, right, there are students, who come from older batch, because as I speak, right, people will be thinking, is it like only a fresher people are getting job, right? What about people who are from older batches? So when I say older, for us, anything that is 2019 and above, right, 18, 17, 16, and we go all the way up, I think we've gone up to 11 or 12, and to 2012, I'm talking about, right, where we could place people, right? So here are some of the example where people are able to get a job. Okay, slightly different template, because as I said, these folks come in little different varieties, right, and then crack a job into core segment. There you can see a student like Trisa Mary Paul, and who could get a career break after 5 years, right? And typically what happens to these people, right? They're already scared, right? Oh my, I have already gap of 5 years, right? And how a hiring organization would look up to me, right? And how do I adapt myself to the new age workplace and things like that, right? Right. But as I said, our solution remains the same. It's more of a skill building, improving your skill set, and then subsequently, get into a better job profile. Right. That's what this particular example you can see, Trisa. Okay. And similarly, we have students like, for example, we have, let's see his name, many windows open here. A student like Kathiravan, right? He's from, I can see in the bottom, right? He's a 2018 batch, but he still crack a job with, Honeywell, right? And if you see, right, he studied in, come from a humble background, place called Kolattur, which is a small town where I grew up, near to the place where I grew up, right? So, these, and they studied in a KSR engineering college, which is like, again, one of the private engineering college there, etc. Right? They're able to crack even a job like Honeywell, even though they're from a 2018 pass out, right? And similarly, we have many other students, right? I don't remember these students here are passed out, but as I said, they're all from 2019 and above, right? We have students like Kirti was able to get a job with, companies like Netra Dime, with a salary package of 5.5 lakhs, right? And then we have Kumar Swami, who got a job with LG, right? And Namrata is another great example. Namrata comes from a teaching background. She was a lecturer for, I think, for about 3-4 years. Then she has to take a break, and then she was able to join our offline course and then get a job with Carnex, right? You can see this as an example, right? And then many other students, like for example, this is another example of Sema Connect by Varshini. You can see that she's from a 2018 pass out, and she was able to get into the Sema Connect in another core company, right? So these are some of the snapshot. If you open up examples, right, it'll only run longer and longer. But all I'm trying to say is like, irrespective of your era pass out, or irrespective of your percentage, right, or irrespective of your branch, right, or irrespective of whatever you've done so far, okay, you can still crack a job with a core company. Not only core company, core premium company, right? And then and get a totally a different push to your career, right? That's what these people have done it, right? And my challenge to all of you is that if they can do it, why not you, right? Okay, they didn't come with anything special, right? But they focused on skill building, what Mubin will cover in the next section. And then subsequently, when the opportunity was presented to them, they were able to convert that opportunity into an offer letter. Because I keep telling in my webinars that you need to showcase your offer letter. That's when you can say, right, I've done my job. Right? Not like coming and telling I attended 5 interviews, right? So you can see here 2016, 2018, 5 years break, mechanical engineers, and you can see startups, mid-sized companies, large-sized organization, all permutation combination. And if I run this, list, right, we'll whole day will end up talking these success stories, right? That's what it is. So I would like to pause here. Maybe I'll take few questions and then I will hand it over to Mubin for the technical part of it, because sometimes what happens, we spend a lot of time in the placement part, it becomes challenging to cover the technical part of it, right? So I won't do all the questions, but I'll try to answer few questions. Then we'll go to technical, and anyways we'll come back with placement. As I said, the third section already comes with the placement part. Okay, so let me take few questions. There's a question from Banu Prasad K. Is asking, sir, is there any difference between, okay, two questions he's asking. So what is the minimum percentage required to attend placements, right? So as per our placement thing, right, initially we say, when you take an admission in to our course, we tell minimum 60% is the requirement. A first class engineering, what it is required, right? But that also recent days we are seeing going through huge change, where I'm seeing 40% of the companies. Okay, let me repeat, 40%, 40% of companies. Let us say 100 companies have come in May, right? 40 companies are basically saying no era pass out criteria, no percentage criteria, which means to say you can from any era pass out, any percentage, right? Okay, so that way I don't see any issue, but it's recommended that you have a first class engineering degree. Hope that's clear, Banu. Okay. Then there is another question. Ankur is asking quite a lot of questions about timing, classes and all. Ankur, just give me a few more minutes. Once we get into the course section of it, we'll clarify how does course work. Because there's another question coming from Chintala Jayasurya, Chintala Oshal Jayasurya. What is the difference between online and offline training? Those questions also will answer. So guys, as I said, we'll shortly get into the core side of it. We'll be able to answer those questions, right? Okay. All right, let me see some more questions. And then Shravan Kumar is asking, there is option for pay after placements. Okay. So currently, no, Shravan. Okay. So we work in a model where you need to pay upfront. There's a scheme, there's an installment scheme or a EMI scheme, what you can call. You can check with our counseling team. They'll be able to provide you more. We also understand the financial part, right? We give you a favorable, and then comfortable payment options for you. But you need to pay upfront or pay during the training itself. We don't have the plan of pay after you get placed as of now. No. Okay. Then there's a question from Rahul. Is embedded company is core company for mechanical engineer also? So that depends. That depends on what you define as core company, right? Because everybody defines companies in their own way. Okay, I don't know, right? We say IT company, we say core company, etc. It depends on what is core. Okay. So when we say core companies are the ones who are working on an embedded product development. B, it uses these technologies, right? Technologies like C programming, Linux programming, microcontroller programming to build the products, right? It's more of a product development companies is what we call as a core companies. Can a mechanical engineer also be part of it? Why not? Right? Absolutely yes. But definitely it's not going to be, when we use the word IT, right? IT is a very broad term. You can even include for example, tech support or a call center also, you can say I'm part of IT, right? That's not going to be the case here. Where you are really involved in technology and you're building a real-time product or a solution, for a real product. You can say, that's where the core company, how we define, right? Again, there are many ways and means and terminologies. Hope that's clear, Rahul. Then Aisha is asking questions, sir, what about programming language? Is it necessary to learn right now? If so, what is the best and electronic domain students? Yes, Aisha, it is very important to you to be good in programming. Why I'm telling that programming is because our course is an embedded software course. Let me repeat, it is an embedded software course. Again, there's a lot of confusion here. When you say core job, it's a very broad term, right? So let me give a brief about what does it go into an embedded system. Let us say you're going to build an embedded system. Let us say you're building a temperature sensor, or let us say you're building a router, right? There are two components into it, right? One is the hardware, which consists of a chip, board, and various components. A green color, what you call a printed circuit board or a PCB, right? So that involves a hardware design and chip design, right? But this particular chip or a board is of not much of use if the necessary software doesn't come into picture, right? That's where the embedded software or what you call firmware comes into picture, right? That's where our focus, even we say embedded systems course, our course gives a lot of stress on the software side or the programming side. Okay, so that's where the number of jobs also higher, because there's also already question comparing with VLSI. Anyways, I'll come to that, right? So coming back to the programming language, yes, you're supposed to be good in programming language, and if you're aspiring to have a career in this embedded system domain, we strongly recommend you become good in C programming. Right? C programming is the most important and more challenging programming language to learn. Probably Mubin can throw some light during his session, right? And of course, we also recommend, not mandatory, okay, to be good in one scripting language. If you look at our course, we teach shell scripting. In our IoT course, we teach Python scripting. But irrespective of that, whether you learn shell or Python, that's secondary, good to have. But mandatory is you should be really good in C programming. When I say C programming, you should be knowing in depth, not writing some Fibonacci series and printing some triangles, right? That's not C programming, right? You need to really know in depth, know about pointers, know about memory management, know about how to deal a hardware using your C programming, bitwise operations, building linked list and dynamic memory management. So these are all what we call as a C program. Okay. Hope that's clear, Anjum, Aisha, Anjum. Let me probably take a couple of questions, then probably we'll move on to Mubin. Then there is a question from Akash Babu Tammali. He's asking, so I'm working in IT company. If I get a job through Emertxe, will they wait till my notice period complete? Okay, he's a working professional. It is very normal to have this question. Yes, Akash, our placement team works with working professionals like you, and we can work out your notice period. Okay, so the previous company will have, let us say, 1 month or a 2 month notice period. Let us say you get a job through us, And all the companies who are recruiting from us would expect you to join immediately. Okay, let me repeat, all the companies who recruit our students expect you to join immediately, but there is always an exception, right? So we can work it out. In fact, we have many working professionals, and we also recommend that you properly get relieved from your previous organization, submit your resignation, get relieved properly, get your certificates, etc., then move on to the new organization. So we will take care of that. We will talk to the companies so you can comfortably serve your notice period and join the new company. No issue at all. Okay, hope that's clear. Then there's a question from Sandeep Kumar Penugonda. He's asking, sir, I'm 2012 pass out. Will I get placed? Why not? Okay. As I already told you, it is not about era pass out or your CGPR percentage. It is about how well you are able to build your skills as a part of this particular course. Okay. So we already have students who are from, I think we gone up to, I think 11 or 12, 13, maybe 1 or 2 year here and there. Good students, play students from that year up, pass out also. And as I already told you, 40% of the companies, 40, are willing to hire any year of pass out and any percentage. So they don't care about whether you're a 2012, 2018, 2017. They say when I call for an interview, will you be able to prove your skills? That's all. So as long as you are following what mentors are telling, work on our assignment and project, because if that doesn't happen, then placement will not happen. You may get opportunity, right, but you will not get placed. So in order for you to get placed, irrespective of your year of pass out, ensure that you follow what our mentors are telling in terms of building our assignment and projects. Okay, hope that is clear, Sandeep. Timings for online, that's a question from Hitesh. Hitesh, hang on, we'll shortly move to the course side of the section, the second section. Okay, then there's a question from Mohammed Saad. He's asking, can diploma student from electronics background 2020 output and a gap of 1 year are allowed to take the embedded course by Emertxe? And will you provide placement support for diploma student? If you don't provide placement support, can you please give me some suggestions to a diploma student so that he can get his first job? Thank you, sir. Okay, so his question about diploma student, right? So Saad, if you ask me, we are breaking the brick one by one. Okay, so last year if you asked me, would your placement companies hire non-electronics and electrical students? I said no, only circuit branch students can come, right? So even though the skill-based thing is recruitment is what important, but all our hiring companies, okay, look for a minimum a BTech or a BE, of course ME and MTech, right? In fact, we get a similar question from MSc students also. Okay, so what so they're not ready to entertain diploma, BScs, or even MCS for that matter, MSc. In fact, MSc electronic students, many of them are behind us, saying that see this BTech electronic subject and MSc electronic, the syllabus pretty much remain the same. Why don't they allow us, right? So it purely depends on the company, but as of now, they're not allowing. Okay, since you're asking us a recommendation, how do diploma students can achieve the thing, right? What I would suggest is you do whatever. I hope you're working. Okay, in case if you're working somewhere, continue to work and at least take up a part-time B. I would suggest that. Okay, there are options in India where you can do a part-time B, and once you obtain that and with armed with skills, whether you gain work experience or by doing course with us, right? So definitely you'll be able to land in a job, no problem. Okay? But yes, unfortunately, BTech is the minimum criteria from all the recruiting companies with Emertxe. Hope that's clear. Saad, Mohammed Saad. I think, yeah, Sandeep, I think I answered your question. Hitesh, again, similar question, 2030 pass out possible for this course? Yes, 2012 is possible, 2013 is possible, 2015 is possible, right? 2010 is possible, all possible, right? No issue about era pass out at all. Then there is another question from Banu Prasad. Is an academic gap play any impact in placements? No, Banu. Okay, I don't think so. Because as I again repeat, okay, these are all typical questions we get in every webinar. Please understand that we are not playing the job market game as per your old rules. So what do you mean by old rules? Old rules means your academic continuity, your percentage, your year of pass out, etc. Right? We are playing the game of skill-based game where companies are ready to forego or compromise on every other criteria, but they want skill. That's why they come to us. If they want a era pass out, let us say they want to hire only a 2022 pass out, right? Why do they come to us? They'll go to and hire a campus, right? So please come out of that. Okay, especially these questions we face in every webinar, especially from the older batch. That's why even though I showed many examples, right? That still there's a doubt. So really older batch people how they're achieving placements, right? So you don't need to absolutely worry. But important part is you work, right? Once you join our course, please put your efforts, irrespective of your year password. There's no issue with respect to placements. Okay. Then there are questions about fee. We'll come to that. Okay, I'll connect you with our counseling team. They'll be able to help you. Okay. Then IT company, I think Akash question, right? There's a lot of questions about fee. Okay, there's a question, probably one last question before we move to the, Jyoti Sahu. Jyoti is saying she has completed MTech in VLSI design and currently living in Pune, where VLSI companies are less compared to embedded system. So wanted to ask, will it be beneficial to do this course in embedded systems? Absolutely, yes. It will be beneficial for you. And even if you look at the number of companies working in embedded systems versus number of companies working in VLSI, right? The number of companies in VLSI will be always lesser than the companies working in embedded. Or you look at this way, right? Number of IT companies will be, if you look at less to more, right? Your VLSI companies will be less. Your embedded companies will be more than VLSI companies. IT company will be much more than the embedded companies. So that's how the number of companies is, right? But here the idea is not about the number of companies. It's about your interest and aspiration about where you wanted to have your career, right? So I don't think there is any issue with with your background. You already come from an VLSI background. If you wanted to get into an embedded type of career, definitely you are welcome. You can very well have a career here. Okay. Okay, I think Kishore is already asking this question. Sir, say about what you teach, right? Enough of placements, right? All right. So, guys, I still see a lot of questions have piled up. Okay, good number of questions. Swing, it's coming in. Long list of questions have come, right? So I need to pause here, and then we'll move on to the course section, right? With this, we'll kind of complete the first section, where we covered two parts. One is like we kind of covered the introduction about our company and about ourselves and what you've been doing. Second, I given a very high level overview about placements. What are the job trends and how these job trends are translating into number of companies which are hiring, and how our students are getting benefited irrespective of their year of password, irrespective of their academia, and how they're able to achieve the results. I just showed you the snapshot, right? We'll pause here. Now I would like to hand over to Mubin. Mubin will run through the technical side, how this course is going to get delivered, because I'm already seeing a lot of questions about how much is the time and how this is going to get delivered, etc. Probably I'll run a couple of slides and then hand it over to Mubin, just to give an overview about courses. Don't worry, we'll come back and answer your placement queries. Right? Okay. So let me exit the PDF. Put back my slide. So we saw success stories of all varieties. Okay. Okay. So what are we trying to do here, right? As a part of this course, right? We are trying to basically work on the skill gap, which we discussed, right? Where the quantity is very high, whereas the skill levels is the challenge for hiring companies, right? We try to bridge that gap and make the engineers employable. So that's a broad thing. And this particular course comes in three flavors or three options. One, what you call it as a physical or an offline class, right? So physical or offline class means people have to come to our center in Bangalore. We are based out of MG Road in Bangalore. People who are familiar, good number of you. That's why I asked, right? How many of you, which place you are joining? Good number of you said you are from Bangalore, right? And not necessary that even if you're Bangalore, you need to come to offline. I'm just telling you an example, right? Okay. So there, the same course it gets delivered where you have a physical classes and lab sessions, right? So here, it's again a 6 months course in the offline mode. Putting the physical classroom and the lab session, every day you need to spend about 4 to 5 hours. So typically we say half a day you need to be in our center. Let us say you start your classes at 9:30, you need to be there till 11:30. Or if you're starting in the afternoon 2 o'clock, you need to be there till 6:30. Right? That's a kind of a 4 to 5 hour of duration every day. Right? And typically it works well for freshers because working professional may not be able to come to our center and learn. Right? And even for people fresher who wanted to learn online, this is not possible. You need to come to a center. But yes, some of the students are very much fond of coming and sitting in a physical classroom. They say, no matter what, sir, I want a mentor to come in front of me, show me a a glass board, write everything in my marker. That's when I feel satisfied, right? For them, we give this option. Okay. So when it comes to online, there are two options available. What you call as an online regular and online evening, right? So online regular and online evening, they both will have the same duration. It's a 5 months course. I have one more slide which is had more details. We'll talk about it, right? So what is the beauty of these online classes? You can literally learn from anywhere, right? You can visa people, right? Joining from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Delhi, UP, right? You can be anywhere. You can learn. Okay. And these also you need to spend about 4 to 5 hours a day. Mubin will cover more details on that, right? But what is the difference between an online regular and an online evening, right? Online evening, the only difference is that classroom timings are fixed. For example, it happens between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. so that it is also suitable for working professionals, right? Working professionals will have their day, let us say 9 to 6. They can take up this particular course also. Okay, so the classes happens on the evening time only. But other than that, the online regular and online evening pretty much the same. Okay, so this is a high level thing I'm talking about. Let me get into a little bit detail and compare these three courses, because many of you already asked the question, how many days, how many hours, etc. Let us take one detailed coverage across these courses. Let us take these parameters in terms of duration, total modules, a daily routine, right? Class timings, weekly plan, recorded videos are given or not, right? Then hardware, how do I access the hardware already coming from Chintara Jayasurya? How do I access hardware in my online class? And what about my 2-year placement support, right? Okay, which our team, might have, some of you might have already had conversation with our counselors, right? They would have told 2-year unlimited placement support. How does it apply for all the courses, right? So let us first take the case of offline course where you come to our center and learn. If you see that, that's a 6 months duration course where you come to our center, and it has got 8 modules in that particular course overall. And then same thing as I mentioned, 2.5 hours of class and labs, and you will be working in physical boards. For example, you'll be given with a pick and arm based boards which you'll be working, and you don't need to bring. It's available in our office. You can check out, work it, and then while going back, you can even go home. And for these students, we will not be giving recorded videos. Okay. Offline students, anyway, they're coming physically. We don't give offline videos, and they'll have a 6 days a week. Okay, so Monday to Saturday is the curriculum timing. Okay? So Saturdays, along with the classes and labs, also used by our mentors for various examinations and preparation activities. For example, weekly tests, module tests, some kind of special preparatory workshops, resume preparation workshops. So Saturday we also do that for that purpose. Okay? Saturday is in more of preparation and exam day, but yeah, class and labs also happen on Saturday, right? And 2-year placement support, yes. So when you say 2-year placement support, what do you mean by 2-year placement support? Right? Let me briefly touch upon, right? So from the time you finish your course, okay, you will get unlimited placement support for 2 years from the time you complete. Let us say you are an offline student, you are joining in the month of May. Right? So let us put 6 months, right? June, July, August, September, October, November. So November 2022, a student will complete the offline course, right? So from November 2022 till November 2024, right? 2 years from the time of course completion, you will get unlimited placement opportunities. That's what the 2-year thing is all about, right? Okay. Now moving on about the online course, how this is going to get delivered. If you see this again, 2 models are there. One is an online regular class and then online evening class. There is a slight difference in duration and module because we felt in online, especially keeping them engaged for a longer duration is quite challenging, because if you're an offline student, you come and meet us physically and things like that. Online becomes quite challenging. That's the reason why we are kind of little bit adjusted that particular modules and duration. And please note, because of this, there is no difference with in placements, right? Okay, just because you are doing 1 month less or 1 module less, there is absolutely no difference with respect to placements, right? So daily routine, how it works, right? In an online student, right? They have this particular thing of 2 hours of classes. Okay, again for the online regular student, which may be happening anywhere in the timings, like for example 9:30, 11:30 or 2:30, and they also will have 1.5 hours of lab session. 1.5 hours of lab sessions, there'll be lab explainer where they'll be explaining an assignment or a project. Mobile will shortly show a demo of it. And once you're done with that, then you have doubts and you have certain queries where there are channels available. There's a forums available. There is a WhatsApp chat available where you can seek support from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. from our mentors, right? So because the support and the lab mechanism is slightly different in the online mode. Okay? And instead of using a board, you'll be using a simulator. Again, Mobile will show a demo. You don't need to buy a board. Using a software simulator, you will get the exact learning experience what you will be getting in a real hardware board, right? Which offline student gets. And all the sessions will get recorded, and you will get a recorded access via our learning management system. Again, Mubin will show shortly. Okay. Even this session, the webinar which you're attending today, it's already getting recorded. Okay. In a day or two, our team will email you. We'll share you the link in case for somebody missed some section, or you wanted to relook into it, or you want to share with your friends, right? It's pretty much open. You are feel free to do so. Okay. So right from this particular webinar, every session that we do gets recorded, and you will get a learning management system where you can access those recorded classes. In worst case, you miss your classes, or there's a network issue, or you want to revise before you go to the next class, recorded classes are given to you. Okay, every day, whatever class recording happens, the next day or maximum one day later, they'll upload those videos. Okay, so that's available. Okay. 2-year placement support, very much available for all the batches, right? Whether you're online, regular, online, evening, doesn't matter. As I already told you, with respect to placements, all the mode of them will get the same placement opportunities. In fact, our placement companies don't bother or don't care about whether you are an offline student, online, regular, online, evening, nothing, right? As I already said, right, when you go for an interview, whether you can prove yourself with a skill or not, that's what they look for. Whereas the online evening, if you look at the duration and the modules, pretty much remain the same. The only difference there is the timings are fixed, right? The timings are nothing but 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. the classes. And the labs, right? The working professional cannot stretch. Let us say labs will start, typically before the class, right? For a regular guys, we can start even at a 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. It doesn't work for a working professional. So what we do is like 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, is where the lab explanation session happens. That happens pretty much throughout the week. And apart from that, you are having a 2 hours of classes, whatever you are mentioning here. And then 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. you'll get your online assignment, whatever the chat support will be there. And apart from that, the 6 days a week recorded videos, hardware placement support remain the same. Okay, so the evening batch is slightly variant. Only the timing is fixed there. In an online regular, since there are students, right, you can have classes even in the morning 9:30, 2:30, sorry, 2 o'clock, 11:30. So that's the only difference. Apart from that, it remains the same. Okay, so this is about the detailed comparison of these three modules, right? I think this slide I'll probably come back later. This also we'll talk later. So now I think we'll go to the demo, and I would request Mubin, are you there?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let me make you a presenter, Mubin. You can take the control. So Mubin will share his desktop. He will go through the demo, and then I'll come back again. So go ahead, Mubin. Please share your desktop.
Yeah. Hope it's visible. Jay, can you confirm my screen is visible?
Yeah, it's visible, Mubin. Audio can be little high, I feel.
All right. Hope it's okay
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll also have a check once with the students in the webinar. Guys, are you able to see the screen shared by Mubin? Hope he's audible. Can you quickly confirm so that he can see the demo? Okay, Soumya says yes. Okay, all right, great. So to Mubin, I'll go offline the video. I'll come back once Mubin complete his demo. Okay. So thank you. Over to you, Mubin.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll brief about how the course gets delivered and what are the important aspects which we cover as part of the course. So since this course is delivered for a period of like around 6 months, so and we have like based upon the course which you opt for, and there are different subjects which we teach as part of the course, so which will be covered in the upcoming slides. So as part of each module, which is called as a subject as well, we include like following topics, right? Following aspects are covered. So on a daily basis, for example, 5 to 6 days a week, you will be having class. So this class typically is delivered for a duration of 2 hours. And in the class section, we will include like conceptual topics as well as topics related to the subject, which involves like understanding the concepts, building the application or programs to apply those concepts, and so on. So there will be dedicated mentors who will be delivering these modules, who are like having experience in that corresponding or respective subjects. So following the class, you will have a lab session. So lab session, again, depending upon whether you're opting for the offline course or the online course, or regular course, etc. So if it's offline course, you'll have a lab for a duration of around 2 hours per day. Similarly, for the online course, you will have a lab on a daily basis, which will be around 1.5 hours per day if it is a regular course. Otherwise, it's going to be like around 1 hour per day or 45 minutes per day for the evening batches, because they can't attend longer sessions. Now, in terms of lab, what we cover is, we importantly talk about cover 2 or 3 things here. One is the problems or programs which you need to do, or assignments which you need to do, will be explained in the lab, and hints as well as basically some basically algorithms will be shared to you, so that you can work on the assignments. So apart from assignments, which are something important and which you have to do offline after the lab session is completed, you'll have to work on projects. So assignments, for example, if you look at a C programming module, there are approximately like 45 to 50 assignments or programs which you have to complete as part of the subject. So reason why we give so many assignments is that it's not just about knowing the theoretical concepts. Yes, anybody can attend the classes and understand the theoretical concept, but it's very important that we apply those concepts by doing assignments and project. So projects will be considered to be important for you to put in your resume, right? So for example, when you apply for a company, how does the companies differentiate you? So they differentiate you based upon the skills which you have. Like for example, which modules you have completed. Have you completed more modules? And as part of the modules, have you done projects or not? So project has a lot of weightage in terms of you getting shortlisted for companies. Similarly, it's important that we assess you in terms of your performance or understanding level. So as part of every module, we conduct objective tests. So objective tests in the form of MCQs, filling the blanks questions, will be shared to you on a regular basis, and you'll have to take up those tests whenever the mentors schedule these tests for you. And these are automatically graded as soon as you complete the objective test, or as soon as the test closes, you can see your score. You can see what is right and what is wrong. That way you can assess yourself, and mistakes, for example, you do, you can correct it. Now, at the end of each module, there is going to be a module test, which is going to be a mix of objective, subjective, and programming questions. So this will also help us and evaluate you in terms of how you are performing overall for the module. So these are the components which will be part of every subject which you are going to deliver. So please note that for objective test as well as weekly test, whichever is conducted, there is going to be a follow-up session as well. For example, it's possible that okay, you not understood certain concepts with respect to a problem statement in a given test, right? So we make sure that each and every question is discussed, so that you are aware of the solution and the best optimized way of solving a given problem. So this way, it's going to be a complete package in terms of what you're going to learn, how we assess you, and after assessing, completing assessment, you will also make sure that the missed out basically parts, or if things which are complicated for you, we also make sure that follow-up sessions are conducted for that. So in terms of support, for example, let's say for offline batches, they can directly interact with the mentors. Whereas for online batches, support is given using different channels. So one is we create a WhatsApp group, which is specific for our batch. So whenever you're enrolled for a course, we create a batch or a WhatsApp group for that. batch, and mentors are also part of the batch. So you can post your questions in the group, and we'll have dedicated mentors assigned to you who will be clarifying your doubts. Similarly, we also keep like doubt clearing sessions as part of the lab. Whenever you have any queries, you can basically ask the mentor as part of the live doubt clearing sessions. We also have a discussion forum, which is part of the learning management system. We call it as LMS. And in the LMS, you can post your queries, and somebody will be there, dedicated mentors will be there who is going to look at the discussion forums and answer your queries. So please note that it's not just the mentors who are going to support you. Other students who are part of the batch or familiar with the questions, they can also answer to that query. So we recommend like peer-to-peer learning. Sharing is something which we recommend in terms of the knowledge. We share more, you learn more, right? Similarly, we also conduct placement preparation sessions. So it's important that you like revise your concept. It's not just that we know it, but often we tend to forget things, right? So we encourage people to revise the concepts. For example, if it's online batches, you will be given recorded sessions after the session is completed. You can watch those recorded videos. You can make sure that you are not forgetting things. So as part of the placement preparation, we do a lot of things. One is like whenever a company comes with a placement, we make sure that students who are attending those interviews, we collect the questions related to that. So we have a big database of like previous interview questions, which we'll share it with you once you basically attend the placement drive. So apart from that, we also conduct dedicated like test for some of the premium companies so that we can assess you and are also prepared for the company specific drives. Then general preparation sessions are there, like preparation based upon C and data structures, because they are commonly asked in interviews. So this is more of revision and giving tips, etc., for attending the interviews. Apart from that, for every company which comes, right, placement drive which we conduct, there is going to be dedicated WhatsApp group which we create. So WhatsApp group is for communication. For example, when the test is scheduled or whenever the interview is scheduled, all the communication aspects will be handled by dedicated WhatsApp groups. We also have a dedicated placement team who will support you in like starting from the floating the application till you are onboarded into the company. So this high level important aspects when to talk about the training delivery. So let me walk you through a LMS learning management system which we will be giving access to you. So whenever a student is enrolled, what we do is we enroll them into a learning management system, which is like an online web portal. And in this online web portal, you can access all the artifacts related to the course. So for example, this particular student, you can see this is the dashboard, how it typically looks like. So you are enrolled to multiple modules. So you can see the progress of each module, and you can also navigate to that specific course and have a look at the what is that topics and as well as the uh, individual categories. Now, if for a particular, let's say course, it's the advanced C course, we can see that there are certain activities which will be part of. So one is like you have to do assignments, and we'll also track your attendance. Attendance is taken for every class and lab. It's important. It shows whether you're disciplined or not. So let's say you want to have a look at the assignments which are being scheduled for you. So every course will have a set of assignments. So if you look at it, you can see, right, like every assignment has a title, and you can look at like this particular student has already submitted the assignment. So you can see the grade obtained for that particular student. So this is shared to you when you're enrolled for the course, and the assignments are scheduled. It's not like that you have to do everything. So you basically have to follow a organized schedule. So schedule will be given to you by the lab mentors, and on a regular basis, on a daily basis, you have to work on those assignments. So after you complete your assignments and you submit it, it will be graded automatically, right? So we have an automatic grading system for which we have written like enough test cases, and after that you will be get evaluated. You also will get manual feedback after doing a code review. Similarly, project also has a weightage. So like every module, we recommend that at least you do 1 or 2 projects as part of the module, and you have to submit the project, which will be evaluated by the mentors. So project and assignment will be given to you. You have to submit the project and assignments, will get evaluated. So apart from that, your attendance is also tracked, and you have a quiz section, wherein, as I told you earlier, right, we'll schedule like multiple quizzes. Objective test will be given to you, and you'll be given like a module test, for which we'll have to take up the module test after completion of each module. So idea of giving assessment is for you to see where you stand in terms of the understanding level, and for us to assess you as well. We'll be given a lot of resources. For example, we'll be given like PDF materials. For example, you can see here there is a basic refresher PDF. So these PDFs you can download, you can access it from the LMS. I'll just show you how the slides look like. Right. For example, this is one chapter which has around 120 slides. You can see how detailed it is, right, in terms of the explanations which is given for every topic, starting from the basics like number system. You can see here like a lot of basically detailed explanation of the slides are given to you, right? So mentors will use this as a reference, and the classes will be taken using these slides as well as whiteboards. So apart from like PPT, we'll be getting like sample code also, like template codes which you can run on your system. So this is just a simple example of how this is just an overview of how the C programming module looks like, and there are like some badges also given based upon how you're performing, etc. You'll get an idea of like how you're performing with respect to other students as well. And apart from that, you can also check your grades here, right? So in terms of grades, how is the performance, right? What is the score, etc. You can see here. So this LMS is quite a detailed oriented platform. We can check where you stand in terms of your performance and what is this, how does the schedule look like, right? What are the deliverables you have, and so on. Similarly, you have like access to discussion forums. For example, we have, this is another course. I'm just navigating to a different course. So you can have a look at the discussion forums, and you can see different people are asking like doubts related to the particular subject, right? So you can post your queries, and there will be mentors as well as your co-learners who can like clarify doubts. So this particular student is asking a doubt, right? And there are multiple people responding to that. So it's kind of social learning, you can say, right? This encourages people to contribute in different ways. Okay. So apart from having discussion forums, you can also make use of WhatsApp group. So for example, for every batch, like this is a specific batch 22013, you can see people are asking questions, right? I'm getting an error, right? So they're asking questions like, what is the error basically? So you can see here. So this is the LMS again. You can see some error they're getting when they write a program. So we'll have mentors assigned to the batch, and you can see the responses in the WhatsApp group, right? So they're posting different questions related to the programs which you're writing. They're getting partial output, right? Some output is not correct, and so on. So you don't have to worry like if you're getting stuck anywhere. So you can feel free to ask questions, and there will be like people allocated for you to answer the queries, right? So you can see one of the mentors are responding, and so on. Similarly, as I told you, we have like related to placements, we have resources available, right? So as you see here, so if you scroll down, you can also see whether your batchmates are logged in or not, right? Who's logged in, and so on. You can see the calendar if any events are scheduled. So you can also select company specific tests are there. For example, NXP specific entry prep test is there, Qualcomm specific entry prep test is there, right? And different modules also you can see here. So overall, you will like learn a lot of things as part of the course, as well as with respect to placements, we'll have access to different materials and tests as well. So in terms of placement related activities, for example, let's say NXP, right? I'm just searching for a specific company. You can see, right, how many times NXP have visited, right? You'll get an idea, right? How many times NXP is visited. So you can also see, right, with respect to, right, the particular drive, right? A lot of communication happens in the group, right? Questions are shared after the interview, right? You can also see like somebody gets placed, there is congratulations mails going on, and so on, right? So a lot of activities happen in the placement group as well. Now what I'll do is I'll show you a sample video with respect to how exactly the course delivery happens for the online batches, because many people are asking for this, right? I'll share you some of the two of the clips which are respect to C programming module and microcontroller module. Especially for microcontrollers, in case of online batches, I'll share you how the simulator is used and how you can visualize the output in a hardware-based simulator. I'm going to play a video with respect to the C programming module. You can have a look with respect to how the course is delivered online.
These are the total memory allocated. Now, after an array has been declared, maybe I want to give the values into the array, because just the array's declaration will have garbage value. Assume I take int array of size 5. Okay, there has to be 20 bytes of memory allocated. Assume this is the 20 bytes of memory allocated for the array. So I'm storing 5 integers. So each integer takes how many bytes? Each integer takes how many bytes? Correct. So each integer takes 4 bytes. So if the starting address of the array is 1000, where will be the next element present? If the starting address of the array is 1000, where will be the next element present? Assume this is 1000. Where will be the next element present? Yes. Each of the element uses 4 bytes. So it is 1004, then 1008, 1012, 1016. To access the array's element, you have to go with something called as the index number. An index number varies between 0 to size -1. So very first element will be in index 0, second element will be in index 1, third element will be in index 2, fourth element will be in index 3, and fifth element will be in index 4. Okay. If you just declare the array like this, the array's element will have garbage value by default. So in order to not have a garbage value present inside the memory block, maybe I want certain values to sit inside it. In such cases, I have to do the array's initialization. To initialize the array, here inside the curly braces, I have to give 5 elements: 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. In that case, that value will be written here. That will be 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, this is how I declare the array. This is how I do the initialization, and this is how the memory for the array will be allocated. Accessing happens with respect to the index number varying between 0 to size -1. See here, data type, name, size, where size represents the number of elements. So the total memory occupied by the arrays, number of elements multiplied by size of an element. That is in turn size into size of the data type. If this is the array I'm going to take of 5 size with the values 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, this will be the array. So the very starting address of the array always is called as the base address of the array. This address 1000 will always be called as the base address of the array, or you can also call it as starting address or address of the very first element of the array. All of them means the same, but we usually refer it as base address. Okay, you can call it as base address, or you can call it as the starting address, or you also can call it as the address of first element. Okay, the starting address is called as the base address or starting address or address of the first element of the array. So then it is plus 4 plus 8 plus 12 plus 16. Index has to vary between 0 to size minus 1. So it has to be starting from 0. An array is a collection of similar data type. Elements occupy consecutive memory locations. First element will be in the lowest address and last element will be in the highest address. Elements are indexed from 0 to size minus 1. So if the size of the array is 5, index will vary from 0 to 4. Accessing out of the range array elements would be an illegal access. So whenever you have to access the elements of the array, you have to go with the name of the array, then the index number. Okay, so array of 0, array of 1, like this, you have to go with the index number. So if the index number varies between 0 to 4, I can access only between array of 0 to array of 4. Out of the boundary, that is accessing array of minus 1 or accessing array of 5 is not allowed. It is an illegal access where you might get to see a error. So accessing out of the range array elements would be illegal access. You should not access the elements in array of minus 1 and array of size. And once the memory for the array is allocated, it can never be altered in the runtime. That is, while executing the program, the array size can never be modified. So if you declare an array like this, it will be 20 bytes of memory allocated for sure. So this size can never be altered throughout the program. Again, here in double denum of size 6, there will be 48 continuous bytes already allocated. You never get a chance to increase or decrease the size once it has been allocated. So this is the concept of array. Clear this much? Okay. So have this one noted. The next we will see is how to print the elements of the array. Okay. So there are different ways of printing the array's element, which we will be seeing shortly. Before that, have this one noted. So the next we have got is to print the array's element. So when you are supposed to print the array's element, we usually go with the name of the array and the index number. But that has to be done on a repetitive manner. So what is it necessary to be used? What is it necessary to be used if I have to print? Yes, loop is definitely necessary. So I can print the array's element in any of a loop considered. Observe. Okay. So first I try printing it in a for loop. Int array of size 5. I also do the initialization with 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. I need another integer variable I for the sake of index. So I will first say it as printf arrays elements are. Okay. So I run a for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus, because 5 is the size of the array. Inside this, I go with the printf. Sorry. Yeah, so printf %d \n comma array's name with index. Okay, so first array of 0 will be printed when I will have a 0 taken, then array of 1, then array of 2, array of 3, array of 4. When I becomes 5, 5 lesser than 5 will be condition false. You come out of the for loop. Observe the output here. So I'm compiling and executing. These are the arrays element which I am printing using a for loop. Let me change this. I try printing using a while loop.
All right, so that was a demo video of a topic with respect to C programming module, which was like discussing about how to create an array and how to print an array and how is the memory representation for array done. So this is how a session looks like typically for one of the modules. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a video for this microcontroller module. So you can have a look at how the microcontroller module is delivered online, including like how the IDE is used and how the code is compiled and how you can simulate the code using a simulator. Have a look at it.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. In today's class, let's see how we can write an embedded program to toggle the LEDs connected to the board bit. So now to write the embedded program, we are going to use the tool MPLAB XID. So you can see here. So this is the MPLAB XID. If you open this, you will see this as a starting tool. So some projects are mentioned here, data sheet is available here. Even if you worked on some
Sorry, you said something, Jay?
Yeah, possible just to increase our audio a little bit in the video.
This is a pre-recorded video. I may not be able to it. Okay.
Oh, sure.
On some recent project, that list is available. See, and even you will get the microchip login. So if you have a login ID password, you do the login, and you can do the purchase on a microchip website, right? Okay, so now let me go back to the question. So question was, we wanted to toggle the LEDs connected to the port D. So now here in this MPLAB ID, you can see these are the different tools available. So we can use these tools as per the requirement. For example, this is to create a new file. It's to create a new project. It is to open the project. This option is to do the build. You can see different many options are there. So as per the need, what we will do, we will take an approach. Whatever we need it, we will start using those things. Now here in this MPLAB XID, I already created a project and kept it ready. So project name is what? LEDs. So in this project, I created. So when this project is created, this MPLAB XID create some organized sections. You can see here. So now to write this program, to write the embedded code, we need a main.c. So generally .c files goes here in this source file sections. Header files goes here, make file will go here, linker script will go to this section. Or if you need any libraries, if you are planning to add any libraries, then those goes into this section. And finally, this is the place for your executable file. So let me go to the main.c. So you can double click and open the main.c in the editor window. So now you can see I'm defining two macros. So instead of using port D directly, so what I did, since if you see the hardware on the hardware, so you are having total 16 LEDs. So this is the PiximLab simulator board. So it's having total 16 LEDs. So currently we are going to toggle LEDs connected to the port D. These are the these are the 8 LEDs out of 16. So these 8 LED array we are going to toggle. Toggling means on off we are going to do. So now, since I'm having 8 LEDs, I'm defining the micro LED array as a port D, and to give the direction to the port pins, there is a register TRISD. I'm defining that with name LED array data direction register. Now you can see here comes my main. So here I'm calling init config function. So this function is to do the initialization. So what we are doing, so in main itself we are not doing initialization. It doesn't look good. So there is a separate dedicated function to do the initialization. It is init config. So control will go here and here in this init config. So initially what we are doing, if we are using LED, we need to set the pin direction as output. So I'm writing my LED array data direction register as a 0. It will set port D pin as the output, and to start with initially I will keep all LEDs connected to the port D as a off. So to turn off the LED, I need to load 0. So I'm writing here 0. So LEDs remain off, fine. And here comes our while one. So if you see any embedded system, once you turn on the embedded system, it runs forever, right? It goes into infinite loop. So here come my infinite loop while one. So inside this while one, we are going to write our application. So what is our application? We wanted to toggle the LED. So here is my instruction to toggle the LED. So I'm writing LED array equal to tilt of LED array. So what it will do? It will toggle the values of this LED array. If it is 0, it will make it 1. If it is 1, it will make it 0. So now you can see. So this is what 0x00. So after execution of this instruction, this LED array value becomes 0xFF. So entire port becomes 0xFF. All port bits become 1. So all LED turn on. LEDs are going to be turned on. And here what I'm doing. So before going to this instruction once again, I'm putting the delay. So if this delay is not there, what happens? We will not be able to see the LED toggling. So it will happen at very faster rate. Due to the persistence of vision, we will not be able to capture it. So I added the delay. Then after this delay, what happened? Next time, since we are in the while one, control will go back here. So again, we are changing the LED array value from what? FF to 0. So now what happened? LED become off, then again delay. So like this way, we are making LEDs on, LEDs off. Fine. Now. So we have to build the code. We have to compile the code. How we can do? So here in this mplab xid, I install x8 compiler. So that's why this header file is also included related to the compiler. So now how you can do the build? So you can see here is one option to do the build. So let me click on that. It will start doing build. My project is getting a build. Now you can see build is going on. So it will take some time. Please wait. Now see, build is successful. That means your hex file is created, and even it will give you the memory summary of your project. So now my hex file is created and it is loaded also. Now what we can do? So we can load that hex file where in this board. So we can run that hex file here in this microcontroller. So this is the heart of this board. So basically here we are using PIC16F877A microcontroller. So we are going to load the hex file here. How? So you can go to the file, you can select the load hex. You have to navigate wherever your project is stored. So let me navigate. So now, just for the sake of simplicity, I kept the project on the desktop. So let me select that. Now again, you have to go to the distribute directory. So basically, you have to use this path. After build successful, it is prompting the path where X file is available. I'm just referring that. Then you have to go to the default production. Here is the X file. Let me open. Okay, expected output is what? These LEDs should toggle, but it's not happening. Why? Because these DIP switch related settings are not done. So to turn on the LEDs connected to the port D, this DIP switch, second one, you have to pull this switch up. So let me do that. So it's down. You have to pull it up. So let me select. Now you can see the change here. So what this program is doing, it's running in this microcontroller and it is toggling the LEDs, and even we are able to see the toggling very clearly, right? Okay, so this is our program, our embedded code to toggle the LEDs connected to the port D. Fine.
All right, everyone. That was a quick demo of how a microcontroller programming session is taken in the online mode. So basically, in the online mode, you will be using ID which is called as an MPLAB ID, and to run the program, you use a simulator which is called as a PixSimLab simulator. And this simulator is a full-fledged simulator wherein you can run code, and you can add components like sensors. You can add actuators. You can add different input and output devices. You can also use things like oscilloscope, etc., to monitor the output. So it's a full-fledged simulator. You can do a lot of basically component-related programming using the simulator, including protocols you can program. Now, as such, just wanted to basically summarize that when you're choosing the online course or offline course, in terms of hardware interfacing and programming, you will not see much of a difference. It's just that when you're working on the offline mode, you see the physical hardware, whereas when you work on the online mode, you see the simulator where you can do programs which you do in the offline mode in the online mode as well. And in terms of coding, there is no difference as such, right? The code which you write on the simulator, the same code you can run on the hardware as well. So buying the hardware is kind of optional for you. Okay. So that's about the microcontroller module. Just wanted to share you some of the details. So if you have any questions, you can related to the hardware, related to the course, you can feel free to ask. We are here to answer. So Jay, over to you.
Thanks, Mubin. So let me take back the presentation. Yes. All right. So that was a course related section. That is section number 2, which I mentioned, where Mubin primarily covered how the online course is going to get delivered, how the doubt clearing works, how basically your hardware challenges, especially when you're learning online. How do you simulate it? And the simulator learning is as same as how do you learn from the buying a physical board, right? And also how the materials are given in form of learning management system, where you get the recorded classes and also a lot of prep materials with respect to companies, right? You saw a few examples shown with respect to companies like NXP, Qualcomm, and many other. It keeps happening, right? So hope we are able to get a good amount of perspective. I could see some questions. So let me read it out since I'm the host. Right? Mubin may not be able to see these questions, so I'm just lining them up. So hope you're able to hear me. Yeah. So there's a question here. I think it's a very regular one which comes in. How long recorded videos available for us if I take course online? Okay, from Parvati. Mubin, you want to answer? How long these videos will be available for the online students? Mubin?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. So typically, the videos are available for a duration of 1 year as of now.
Okay. So that's the answer. And let me take the next question. So there's a question from Sanidhya. She's asking, will we be taught how to interface various components to make various components and make device drivers? I think two questions there, moving. One, she's asking, will we be teaching interfacing part? And also she's asking about making device drivers.
Yeah, so yes, you will be using various components, like you can add different spare parts or different components, and you can interface them using the simulator as well as the real hardware. So that is part of the microcontroller module. In terms of learning drivers, right? So we are not going to teach you how to write like operating system based device drivers. As such, when you look at microcontroller module, it's bare metal programming, wherein you're going to write a program using the C programming language. You'll learn how to basically read the data sheet, how to understand the specifications and the protocol, etc. And you'll be writing bare metal drivers, I can say. But you're not going to write any like OS based device drivers. So that will not be covered as part of the course. But nevertheless, if you have a clear understanding of how to write a bare metal driver, in future you should be able to write OS based drivers as well. Hope I answered your question.
Okay. Yeah, Sanidhya, hope that answers your question. There's another question moving from Pooja Yole. I think another Sanidhya also is having a similar question. What all protocol will be taught, like I2C, CAN, SPI?
Yeah, as part of microcontrollers, yes, we cover like UART, I2C, SPI, as well as CAN protocol. So they are covered. And you'll be working on like applications on that as well.
Okay. Let me go up. Any other questions? And there's another question from Akash. Akash is asking, is data structures a separate module or included in the C module? Okay.
It is a separate module. After you complete the C programming module, data structures will be covered extensively as a separate module.
Okay.
So you, I think you can also have a look at the syllabus. Those people were asking for the detailed contents. You can have a look at the syllabus wherein like what each subject contains is also mentioned. It's available in the website as well.
Okay. Okay. Then there's again a question from Parvati. She's asking, is the course covers testing and development aspects?
So if you look at the focus, the focus will be primarily on developing. So in terms of like testing, like few things will be covered, like how to write code which will be tested automatically. So typically what happens is that for the evaluating the assignments, we want you to write the code, and that programs which you write will be tested using test cases which we have written. Vendors will be writing the test cases, and your code will get evaluated. The other way is not going to happen as of now. Okay, but it's not a difficult task because you're learning something like shell scripting, etc., which will help you to basically write automated test cases as well. An overview will be given initially about SDLC, what are the different phases, etc. But we are not going to focus on like the testing aspect of it in detail.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Mubin. Are there any questions about course, hardware access, syllabus? Okay. Rahul, I think your question is related to placements. You are a mechanical engineering is a problem, and then there are questions from Akash. A lot of placement questions coming in. Because you guys to pause for some time. I'll take it up. Is there any technical questions, guys? Are you able to get an idea about the course, how it is going to get delivered, how you are going to support in the labs, prep sessions, materials, LMS? Can you get some responses? Are you able to get a view of how this course, especially for online mode, because offline means you'll be able to relate it easily. Okay. Again, there are questions coming about fee. I would suggest our counseling team would be the right people. Harsha, I will share their contact details in the end. You can connect with them. Okay. Then Pooja is telling, can we get details of course content? Of course, yes. Please go to our website. There's a section where you'll get an entire syllabus you can download. Just go to any of our course online course. Whatever Mubin has demonstrated, every module has got a detailed syllabus, what you call table of contents, available in our website, Pooja. Okay. Any other questions for Mubin? Okay, one more question again from Sanidhya Mubin. Will RTAs be covered? She's also asking.
We don't cover RTOS as such, but we teach Linux and networking. So as part of Linux internals module, so the concepts of operating system is covered, like what is process, what is threads, what is process synchronization, IPC, then thread synchronization. We'll also talk about networking, TCP/IP, socket programming, memory management, process management. All these things are covered. So these topics are in generic nature, right? So operating system concepts is very important for you to develop embedded systems. So these topics are covered in a generic manner, but the OS which you use is Linux because it's available easily and you can program the applications on a Linux desktop. In fact, like we have multiple subjects taught on Linux. The reason for teaching Linux is because in embedded systems, Linux is quite popular, be it when used as a development machine or be it for developing embedded applications. So if you learn these general concepts, then it's going to apply for any operating system. It's not specific to Linux. You can use it for developing any OS-based application as such. It can be used in RTOS also. Specifically, RTOS we don't choose, but Linux will be used to teach the operating system concepts and applications.
All right. And Sanidhya, yes, embedded.
In fact, companies demand for Linux. Okay, in terms of expectation of the companies, they expect operating system application programming on Linux. That's the expectation level.
All right. Is there any questions, guys? Any questions on the technical course, hardware, printer support, topics? Or shall we move to the third section or the last section where we are going to talk about the placement process? Okay, Mubin, there is one more question from Parvati. She's asking, is software required to learn or based open source? She's asking.
Yes, all the software which you use is open source.
Right.
We will be sharing the details on how to install and how to set it up.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Mubin. Thanks for your demo and clarifying the technical questions. Okay. I think I'll move on to the third and the last section about the placement process. Can we start the third section, last section? I know it's like 9:10. Can you get some? Go ahead. Shall we start the third and the last section about placement? Placement is a process, right? We saw placement at high level. I want to get into placement as a process. Okay. Harsha, Pooja, Mohan. Okay, great. So let me move on. Thanks, Mubin. Let me move on to the next section. Okay, so I think we discussed quite a lot of questions. Some of them may be there, whatever Mubin has explained. We just put this just for a reference purpose. Most of the questions either you already asked or Mubin has already answered them. Okay. Now let us talk about the placement as a process. It's like you assuming that you join the course, how your placements are going to work. So first and foremost thing is, once you join our course, in a matter of initial 2-3 days, our team will be adding you into the Google group. Okay, so let me first show the Google group and then come back. Go out of this thing. So you can see my browser there. You can see this is a an ID which is subscribed to our Google group. Okay, you can see here in this Google group every day the complete information about the placement are posted here. You can see, right, when I mentioned this many companies are coming every day. You can see the messages coming. Lokesh is our placement manager, or Emertxe placement is our common ID. You can see, right, there are many type of messages are put in here in terms of apply now, or online return test schedule, right? And then and then even the return test, and you can also see congratulations messages when the schedule is happening and things like that, right? You can see this. This is a quite a busy group once you start applying for the placements, right? In fact, you will be added immediately, but you can start applying once you complete your C programming module, right? At least after the third month, you can start applying. You don't need to wait for the course to get over. After the third month, you can start applying, right? For example, let me take a case of one of the applications here. Let us say, for example, Elif Semiconductors. So this is an application which will be floated by our placement team. You can see here the complete information is given. What is the company and some of the nodes who can apply, and what module they have asking for. You can see here this company is selling students who are completed till MC module can apply. That means micro controller module is required for this module, this company, right? As I said, you can start applying after the C module, but it is important that you watch out which module the company is asking for. Then you can see there, like what is the academic criteria that they're expecting, 60% throughout the academics. Then you can see, right, 2018, 19, 20, 21 can apply, right? You can see people especially who are from the older batch, right? So that's the idea. And you can see the salary levels what they're giving. Initial 6 months it will be 4.5 lakhs, then 6 to 12 months it will be 5 lakhs, and 12 to 18 months it will be 7 lakhs. So that's a kind of a salary package this company is offering. And other details also, we put any terms and conditions from the company. For example, they ask for a 2-year bond, and then the interview, what type of interview, because written test followed by taking a 1-day process at client's place. So which is company is expecting them to come physically. Okay, this is one of the examples. And work location is Bangalore, work from office, because that's also a question, right, whether it's a work from home or from office. So you can see, right, the entire information is presented to you in a transparent manner. So you can see a lot of such things come, and there is a deadline also given by when you need to apply, and there's a link given where you can go click it and then share your details, right? So once you submit your information, we share the application with the placement organization, who will subsequently run, depending on the company, they may run certain shortlisting again, and then they give for the schedule, right? You can see there are a lot of schedule mails have come there. So let us say, for example, Alif itself has come. Oops. Okay. Inbox. You can see, right, a lot of forums. You can see a lot of schedule has come, right? You see TEK systems, right? And you can see, let us say this schedule, for example, online schedule. So you can see there are a list of students who got shortlisted, and then all the shortlisted student information is also presented. Okay, and then subsequently the shortlisted student list is also. I think it is little slow. I'll turn off my webcam. Looks like there's network latency here. And this also has a list of students who are shortlisted. You can see there who got shortlisted. That information is also shared with that. Like these 5 students are cleared, and then they go for the written test or subsequent rounds, right? So like that, our placement team will work closely with this particular team, and people who are getting shortlisted, they'll get further information about when is the interview. Let us say 5 students are getting shortlisted, when exactly the interviews are exactly scheduled, and and also when is your written test, have you cleared the first round, second round, and until you get an offer, our placement team will be very closely working with you and ensure that you get your onboarding done. Okay. So here there are 2 scenarios exist. One scenario is where one student get placed before the course gets over, right? Like as I already said, after the 3rd month, after you complete your C programming, you can start applying for the class placements, right? So once you get placed, you need to join immediately, which means to say, you need to basically miss some modules, right? Assuming that you are an offline student or an online regular students, you can rejoin us or continue your course pending modules in the online evening mode. So that way, you can very well ensure that you don't miss any learning through Emertxe. That is one possibility. Second possibility could be that, where you got some interview opportunities. Let's say you attended 5 interviews, 10 interviews, right? But still you did not, you did not get placed, right? Like, your offer letter did not come through. So that's where the basically the 2 years placement support comes into picture, where you can very well attend the interview up to 2 years after course completion. Okay, so that's how the placement process works. Okay, in terms of a 2-year unlimited support, right? So let me move on. Okay, anyways, we showed the Google group. So let me take some questions. There are quite a lot of questions have come with respect to placements. So let me check them one by one. So what about resume preparation? Will we get any guidance? Says Harsha. Yes, Harsha, I think I missed showing one particular slide. Let me go back. Yeah. So you can see here, along with the modules, what Mubin has shown. We also do this thing called Disha. So Disha is where we conduct a series of workshops where, about how to write a resume, how to face interviews, right? And then many of the students are applying for higher studies. We help them with the letter of recommendation, right? And then, time to time guidance and feedback, right? Tips and tricks when you are, when you are attending the interview and things like that. So all those information will be part of our Disha workshops. Okay, so this is about our Disha system. What we say. Okay, go back. Okay, let's keep this in this slide. Let us take some more questions. Will you provide compiler and simulator as a part of the course? Okay, Ramesh. So Ramesh, as Mubin has already mentioned, those are all nothing but the open source software. You can very well download it at a free of cost from a particular website and install them. How to compile, how to download the software, how to install them, how to set it up, everything will be taught as a part of your course. Okay, so we give you the links where you can do it by yourself with the help of mentors. Okay, so that's how your the entire tool set, whether it's an IDE or a debugger or or any editor or any other compiler, every entire in fact they start with installing Linux. So that's the first session happens. So right from installing a Linux all the way up to setting up a board or simulator, everything will be taught, and our mentors will be supporting you to install and set it up. Okay. Hope that's clear, Ramesh. Let me go up and take few more placement related questions. So Rahul is very concerned. Okay, he's putting the same question multiple times. He's telling, I'm from mechanical engineer. After getting a job, is there any problem in future, like promotion in the post, because of lack of knowledge in electronic or electrical subject? No, Rahul. So once you are selected by a company, they will be judging you on how well you are performing after you are hired. Okay, just because you are a mechanical engineer, there won't be any issue. It's all about how well you do in your job. Okay, so just come out of the thought that your branch will be a constraint. Your branch is no longer a constraint. Similar to how I mentioned your era, password, and percentage, right? Your branch is definitely is not a constraint at all. I hope that's clear, Rahul. Akash is asking from when placement start. I think I already clarified. May repeat. After you complete your C module, that happens around the 3rd month. So after the 3rd month, you can start applying for placements, and you can apply 2 years up to the after the course completion. Right, 2 years after the course completion you can apply, but you can start applying from after the 3rd month. Okay, that's the duration of placements. Okay, and there's a question from Harsha. What are the top companies for embedded field which we can get recruited? I think I already showed you the placement set of companies. Okay, there are a lot of popular names there. I would suggest you take a look into our website or our social media. Social media, when I say Instagram and LinkedIn, is where we are actively posting. You can see almost 4 to 5 updates on a daily basis, related to placements and many other things about career building, etc. So I would suggest you take a look into it. Whatever I showed you some snapshot, you'll get a regular update from our website and social media. But you can see almost all the major logos of embedded, semiconductor, telecom, IoT, robotics. All the companies are recruiting. Okay, hope that's clear. Then Ramesh is asking, are you offer hardware related courses also? No, Ramesh. Our courses are pretty much based on the software, as I already mentioned, embedded software course. But yeah, using the software, how are you going to program the hardware? The demo which Mubin showed, how are you going to program a embedded hardware, a controller? So that's what would be the focus of our course. Okay. Let me go up. technical placement. There are a good number of questions. So Voshal Chintal, Voshal, I think his question was about lab, which got answered. Rahul, again, the question about mechanical engineering. So Dolly Kumar is asking, please direct us how study the course to get maximum skill for ourselves. Right, Dolly? I think it's a very valid question. So I would say very simple answer. Just follow what the mentors are saying. Okay, you don't need to do anything extra, any extraordinary heroic activities. Our mentors have, you saw the videos that Mubin has shown, and also the support mechanism which we have. And they will guide you, and whatever may be the subject, whether C programming, Linux. So we assume that the participant has got a zero knowledge in it. Okay, so you don't need to worry. Every topic will start from the scratch, and they will explain everything from the basics. Just follow what they're telling. Be regular to the classes. Do all the assignment and projects. Then definitely success will be yours. Okay, you saw, right? People who are getting that type of salaries or those type of core jobs, when they crack, they didn't do anything extra. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so just follow what mentors are telling. That's a simple mantra. Okay. Then there's a question from Hitesh. Hitesh is asking, I'm working already, so please guide to me which time for online course. So Hitesh, as I already mentioned, the online evening classes would be the suitable one, because they're scheduled between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. along with the labs happening between 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's ideal for any working professional. Online evening would be recommended for you. Okay. So then Dolly Kumari is asking another question. Facing problem to complete assignment, what should I do? Okay, you need to take support from our mentors, as Mubin already shown, either through a forum or putting a message in WhatsApp group. Our mentors will help you, whether you have certain issues with respect to understanding the assignment, or you have got stuck with certain issues, or you got certain, say, partial output, but some portion you're not able to do. So they will diagnose where exactly you are stuck, and then subsequently they'll help you to come out of the challenge. Right? You can take support from our mentors and then proceed with your assignment projects. That will be the answer, Dolly. I think is this course pre-recorded or live session? I would say both. Every class is live, but we also record that particular particular session, recorded and given to you. Okay, so then there's a question from Pratik Davare. Is asking, sir, I'll be completing my MTech degree in power electronics and drives from BNIT Nagpur on June 15th. Is there any scope for me in embedded system? Why not? Okay, so power electronics and drives are very much part of the core work, and those knowledge will definitely help you. And having a MTech degree, you would have probably studied more subjects. Okay, so it will definitely help you. So only issue, Pratik, by now you would have realized, even though you studied in BNIT and you got an MTech degree, right? So those degree only helped you with your qualification, right? They help you get a post-graduation degree, but they're not taken care of the skill building part, which will be the focus of our course, by which will make you industry ready and employable. Okay, so that's the whole thing. I think yeah, pretty much I have answered. Let me go down and see any other things are remaining. Okay. There is a question from Kuldeep. Kuldeep is telling so many things. Sir, I completed BTech in 2016 and MTech in 2018, and I was preparing for government job. If I come, then it will be difficult for me to get a job. No, Kuldeep. Okay, because as you already saw, I showed some of the students who achieved a career break after they have some kind of a gap. Whether it could be between BTech and MTech or after MTech, right? Many students come and will come in that kind of category. And I also told some of the girl students, right, who need to take a break due to their personal reason, relocation, etc. Right? So definitely that will not be an issue. You focus on the skill building, and there can be question when you're going for a HR interview or something. Somebody may ask you what you've been doing, why there is a gap. You just explain the honest answer, like how you're putting in this particular chat right now. You can tell, you're preparing for so and so, examination. Okay, there won't be absolutely any issue. Okay, so just focus on our course. Things will come on your way. The year gap is not a problem at all. Hope that's clear, Kuldeep. Okay. Then again, question from Pooja: if someone is professional, will they consider the current experience etc? Okay. So again, Pooja, this is a valid question, right? I'm working, right? I already have some work experience. That experience could be related to embedded or not related to embedded. Okay, how will they consider? Okay. So we will say that purely depends on the company. Okay. So there are some companies who consider that. There are some companies who may not consider that. Okay. So we, for example, we recently had a case where some of the students who had some previous experience, when the company recruited, they hired at a one level above. Unlike a typical fresher, right? They hired and they taken it a one level above, right? In terms of the hierarchy. So that is possible. But that we will not be able to decide. Basically, the decision makers are ultimately the companies. But I don't think this will be a big issue, because many students are working professionals are able to achieve the transition. Okay, hope that's fine. Hope that's clear, Pooja. Okay. Then there's a question from Kuldeep. Kuldeep, wait, your messages are coming. Okay. So, but sir, it's a huge gap. 2018, I completed my MTech, right? I don't know whether you've seen my previous messages, Kuldeep, right? Some of the success stories I shown you. We have a lot of students from 2017, 18, 16, 15, right? There are tons of people who are achieving placements. Okay. So, whether it is, let me repeat, whether the gap would be between BTech and MTech, after MTech, after BTech, any sort of gap is absolutely fine. Okay. So just that, you guys have not seen success, right? There is always a, I asked this question, right? And there is a sense of failure in you, right? Kuldeep, if I'm not wrong, right? There's a sense of failure. Are itna saal ho gaya, I have not achieved much, right? I understand your concern. Okay. But I would suggest you put this away. Okay, focus on our course, focus on skill building. There are a lot of people who have achieved success like you. Yeah, Kuldeep says yes sir, obviously, right? There's a concern because so many years have happened, but I have not achieved my goal, right? Okay, so don't worry, just follow the process what mentors are telling, and you are not the only person, Kuldeep. Let me tell you, right? I showed in the initial some of the student success stories there. There are a lot of students from older era pass out, year gap. We saw today, I showed one student, who came from, 5.5 years of gap, right? I think I showed you. Okay, I don't know whether you've seen that. In the interest of time, I don't know to show again, right? Since we are discussing a specific point here. Absolutely no issues. Okay. So Kuldeep. And then Pooja is telling, I have 3 years experience in FPGA, somewhat in embedded systems, but too less. Yeah, I understand, Pooja. FPGA is somewhat related to embedded system, but that comes probably one step before the embedded software comes into picture. It's more during the your field programmable gate arrays come during the hardware design part, mainly the ASIC design part. Companies may consider. I think there's also a question from Akash Babu, similar lines, right? Any previous work experience, the consideration is given by the company. Okay. And if you ask me from the recent experience, yes, they do consider, and some companies may not consider. Okay. We will leave purely to the companies. Okay, hope that's clear. Okay. Then let me go up. Parvati is asking, sir, is all companies conduct aptitude test, or is it possible only technical round, right? Again, the answer, Parvati, depends on the company, right? Some companies do conduct written tests. That written test will consist of basic aptitude, some of the electronic related, basic related, electronic related questions, it will be there. And some companies, yes, they directly go and ask for, technical interviews or technical round. Okay. So, I think the question comes from the fact that, clearing aptitude test is difficult, right? You're finding out some way by doing the course, can you bypass the written test and directly get to the technical, right? Many students ask me this question in a smart way. I think you're also asking the similar manner, right? So the answer is depends on the company, right? We cannot go and tell, hey, don't ask aptitude questions for interviews, right? Or a written test. We cannot say that. It purely depends on the company. Okay. Yes, they do conduct. Okay. Company to company, I don't have a data, but companies do conduct aptitude test. Okay. So Kuldeep is calling, sir, how can I speak to you, sir? Directly to you, call, right? So Kuldeep, I would suggest I share my, team's counseling team's number towards the end. You can, talk to them, and they will be able to help you out. But still, if you are, if you are not, if you really wanted to talk to me, yeah, you talk to them. They will connect you with me. Okay. I will share the number so you can talk to them. They will set an appointment with me. I can give a call back to you. No problem. Okay. Just that I need to set up a time with you. Okay. Yeah. All right. So there's a question from Atira Ajit. She's asking, she's saying, sir, I joined a company and due to some personal issues, I need to resign within 1 week of joining. Oh, okay. Is this difficulty in getting another job? So I don't know why you need to resign within a week. I suggest you don't show that experience only. Okay. So because unnecessarily it will be triggering a lot of questions. Because if you at least tell I worked for 1 year or 2 years, or it will be of some value. But 1 week is I don't know. I cannot comment on that. So I would suggest while you're applying for placement companies, just don't show that experience. Don't show that as if you joined that company also. That would be better. Okay, Atira, hope that answers your question. Then there's a question from Ramesh. So can we use the coding learned in this course to write program and for making digital analog converters? Of course, yes. Okay, that they basically analog digital converters. Not only that, various use cases you can use that. Not only that, okay, there are tons of use cases where the coding, whatever you are learning, will get used. Okay, in fact, you'll be learning not only the ADCs, right? You'll be learning various other peripherals like what Moveen has demonstrated, the LCDs and CLCDs, LEDs, switches, right? Various sensors. So you'll be applying your programming by utilizing all these interfaces. So that way you'll be able to build and use this particular coding in various use cases. Okay. Hope that's clear. Ramesh. Atira, is that clear? Okay. I think okay, great. So let me go through. I think we are kind of coming into the fag end of the session. I know it's already 9:30. Okay. So let me go a little bit further. Okay. I think we discussed quite a lot thing about placements. How long will I get? Okay. Still questions are coming up. Should I apply to all companies? What type of companies coming? Having an year gap, notice period. I think we discussed pretty much all of them. Okay. And one more thing, we are affiliated with the National Skill Development Corporation, or NSDC. Okay. Unfortunately, it's in a different laptop. I don't have the certificate to show you. Okay. So where by then after you complete the course, you will also get an assessment done by the NSDC panel, and upon you clearing the certification test successfully, you will get a certificate from Government of India, from central government, Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Skill Development. Okay. As I said, it is a different laptop, so I could not show that. But that is also additional advantage in your resume, where especially if you're planning to apply globally, and those certificate is very much valid. And of course, we also give certificate from Emertxe side also. So that's about the certification part. So Parvati is saying, so I joined recently. If I get good opportunity here, can I break my agreement by paying previous company? Is it a problem? No problem, Parvati. Okay, I think you are talking about bond, right? Similar to notice period, bond is also another challenge. In case I think you are talking about bond. If you can pay up that bond by paying the financial compensation to your existing company, that is your choice. Okay, so it is purely up to you. Okay, so some students come and tell, for example, I have signed, let us say, 1.5 years of bond or 2 years of bond, and let us say 4 months are waiting, pending in my bond period, right? So what we tell them is to wait for those 4 months, right, and then apply. Okay, but I don't know your bond period, how much is the total period, how much period you already served. Okay, but whatever may be the situation, right, you can do that, no problem. But only request is don't break the bond and run away and you join the new company. We always recommend in Emertxe that you get relieved properly from any organization that you work, right, so that you carry your work relationship, you carry your experience certificate, relieving letter, every paper, keep it correct, because you don't know, you in your current current company, whomever is a supervisor, right, they may come back and see you as a supervisor in your new company also. This world is very small. Okay, so do not take any shortcuts. In case there is a bond period, ensure that you serve properly, get relieved properly from the current company, so that you can move on to the new company. Okay, hope that's clear, Parvati. Okay, yes sir, thank you, Shishali. Is there any other questions, guys? So course dates and our counseling team's email ID, you can see here. So 25th of May, we are starting our online regular class. Okay, that is, as I said, the day class. Okay. And then 27th May, we are doing an offline. That's the physical batch is starting. And 1st of June, embedded systems online evening is happening. That's the evening class that is happening. So those are all the course dates, which is already available in our website. And in every month, we'll be starting batch during the end of the month. Right? Typically on a 4th week of every month, we start the batches. Depending on your convenience, depending on your plan, you can get in touch with our counseling team. Let us say the mail ID is given there, training@emertxe.com, and the phone numbers are given 809 555 7333 and 77332. Okay. You can reach out to our counselors. Some of you may be already in conversation with them. You can continue to do so. They will help you. But in any case, if you wanted to reach out to any of us, you can let them know so that we can also get into a phone and then we can discuss further. Okay. So that's about the course date. Okay. So I have visited Institute 1. I have contacted a counselor, Harshita. Can I contact her back? You can do that, Parvati. Or you can just call these numbers. Any one of, we have a pool of counselors. Any one of them will help you. Okay, no problem. Okay. Or if you wanted to come and meet our counselors again, you can do that also. All right. So last one is about our coordinates. Right? As I mentioned, in Bangalore, we are located in MG Road. If some of you wanted to meet us as Parvati, want to meet us face-to-face counseling, etc., you're most welcome. And we are active in social media, primarily in Instagram and LinkedIn. Okay, so the links are given there. Emertxe IT is the handle, both in LinkedIn and in Instagram. We post quite a lot of regular stuff, and apart from that, we also run free masterclass webinars every month where we invite external speakers. Right, every month we run 2 webinars. One is this one, course demo webinar, and beginning of the month we run a what you call a masterclass webinars. I think the next one will be planned in the first week of June. The topic today only got finalized. It will be based on blockchain technologies, right? So please watch out for those type of webinars. As I told in the beginning, it doesn't matter whether you join your course, our course, doesn't join our course. The idea of this particular webinar is to give you guys a broad perspective about how the industry is heading, where the jobs are getting created, right, and how you can choose your career. Because please understand there's a difference between job and career. Job is something which we are doing it for our survival sake, right? But career is something which you choose out of your own interest, out of your expertise, and then do it for a long period of time. So whenever you are planning to do something long period of time, ensure you spend enough time, get good number of information about that domain, talk to the experts, right? Get the right set of guidance, and then make a decision, right? So this is our attempt from Emertxe's attempt to run these monthly course demo webinars in that direction. Okay. I sincerely hope this particular webinar has given you the necessary information, right? From, if you remember, right, we started with the job trends, how it is translating to placement opportunity for our students, how students are cracking it, right? And then we took some questions about placements. Then we went into the course delivery part, how the course is going to get delivered, hardware related challenges, doubt clearing, support, etc. Right? And then we came back again to placement. We discussed about how the placement process works, right? And then how the placement certification part works, how the companies are hiring. We took a demo for Google Group, etc. Right? So hope this comprehensive information, right? You can see, right? We say it's like 2 hours, right? It's already 2 hours 40 minutes. Sometimes it even pushes up to 10 p.m. right? Of late, I've started getting some negative feedback from my team saying that sir, it's becoming 3 hours, right? It's like becoming like a marathon. So we tried to optimize today a little bit, but still you can see, right? It's almost 9:45 to our 45 minutes. Okay, that's not the idea. The idea is to ensure that you guys are given the right information so that you can take appropriate decision for your career as we move forward. Okay, so this video also, as you saw, it's getting recorded. In a day or two, we will send the same recorded video to your email ID. And in case you have any doubts, you can reach out to our team. I already shared the coordinates. Okay, so with that note, so thank you very much, and I would like you to welcome to this possibility of you having a career in the core domain, okay, and have a wonderful future and your career. Okay, so I wish you all the very best, and thank you for joining today's webinar. May I take a minute and get your feedback? How did you find today's webinar? Quickly, I know your dinner time is waiting. Okay, can I get some quick feedback? How did you find this webinar? Was it informative? Did you get a better idea? Okay, Sadali is telling good sir. Interesting says Akash. Mohan is telling always awesome sir. Then Hitesh is telling nice. He's giving some thumbs up. Thank you, Hitesh. Parvati is telling it's excellent. I cleared all my doubts. Hitesh is again telling grateful. Kuldeep is telling excellent. Rakesh is telling good sir. It's very good skill development course, says Ramesh. Excellent, says Kuldeep again. It was very useful, sir. Cleared all my doubts. Kavya, thank you, Kavya. Interesting, says Hitesh. Okay. So fee structure, as I said, Hitesh, right? Our team will be right. The way I'm not able to utter the numbers, it's because depending on the era pass or depending on the online versus offline course, right? And then there are some scholarship they run, right? So that way, depending on your case, they'll be able to exactly tell you. So please get in touch with your counselors; they will definitely help you. Okay. So then Mahantesh is also telling, good sir, cleared all my doubts. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. Okay. Thank you for joining. I already mentioned, whatever decision you make it with the right set of information and getting the right set of guidance. I hope this webinar has given you good amount of information from the guidance point of view. Okay, so I'm pretty sure all of you will do very well in your career. Okay, so thank you very much. All the very best to all of you. Take care, and probably we'll see you in our future webinars also. Bye.